Sometimes the primetime world is spun on its axis, and it couldn't be more true than what happened last week. An unlikely challenger stepped up and claimed the throne as the new champion over the primetime GOAT Trixie. Tonight, though, another challenger steps up to the task and is looking to have the performance of his career to call himself the champion. Enter the challenger, BFAP Jakey, a friend to the mighty Trixie. Tonight, he will look to settle the score and avenge a fallen teammate, capturing the Xbox title in the process. His overwhelming wrestling and ability to read his opponent makes him a dangerous puzzle that only the elite can solve. Jakey, I've been fighting with the best for a while, lost 3 title fights, and still fighting at the top. I'm not ashamed. I'm going to be more than the gatekeeper now, and Optics is my chance. It's now or never. But in order for Jakey to claim not only vengeance, the championship as well, he must defeat one man, calling upon the champion himself, FSK Optics, a competitor with a vicious approach, a man who will not take a step. His only language is that of fighting. It's all he knows, and it's all he has done. A fighter who fights with an incurable heavy pressure and a heavy level counter-striking game that makes him one of the elite level talents today. Wake up, Jakey. It's all over. Jakey's about to find out there are levels to this, and he isn't on my level. Just like my son Trixie found out last week. If you step in there with me, you'll get hurt. Jakey's a bum, and I'm going to treat him like so. I'm the king of primetime, and he's the jester. For those are the words spoken by the champion. And with all that being said, tonight, strap in for a wild night's of fights and a main event between two men that carries a lot of hate. Welcome to Primetime!
What is going on, you beautiful bunch of savages? I am your host, Cyrus the Looney. Joining me in the commentary booth for this historic card is going to be the one and only Mr. Humbled, and of course, the Mighty Dog. How you doing, lads?
Oh my god, we're back! It's Primetime 63. You're spending your evening with us tonight for a reason. The action is going to be boom, Doctor. And what a main event we have. You've just talked a bit about that right there. And Optics obviously shocked us last week against Trixie. But Jakey's coming to revenge his teammate, as you said. But look at the co-main event as well. Blackout hours. Every single fight he's had so far has been a finish. And it's going to be a tough test for Lukey to come in and try and derail that man, Doctor.
Yeah, well, both of these men are undefeated. Lukey vacated the belt last time round. You'll know him better as the Mr. Trials War. He's coming back now in that co-main event spot. Leon did have to vacate last week, and so now he's fighting Blackout for the new PS title belt. Further down this card, though, you have the man himself, Trixie, on the loss to Optics, now fighting the SMB mix-up. Following that, you've got Fadinator making his return against Bradu, who came out with an extraordinary win against Dirty Dave. But only this card is stacked, at least in the top, and the prelims, it's also very stacked here tonight.
Yeah, obviously only one card this week, no Friday cards and no fights for us on the Friday yesterday, but as a result, we have more fights here this evening there, Humble. And it's stacked top to bottom, brother. And one of the easiest ways to see that is that you're going to be the very first fight of this evening. KM Kip against TD Holloway. Unfortunately, that has not come to fruition. One of them, or both of those guys have gone MIA. But Mr. Humble and Titch, I mean, this is an entertaining one, brother.
Yeah, it should be a good fight. It's not. I'm not fighting Titch. I'm fighting Storm. He was actually a lot higher ranked, as my comeback fight. There seems to be a lot of times in these Ned gets it a lot as well. KIA boys get a lot of replacement fights. I don't know why that is. Cyrus, I'm not saying that anyone's running scared, but it happens a lot. That's all I'm saying. Oh. And Ned's got a record for I think about eight pullouts. I don't really understand. If anyone pulled out anymore, there'd be no kids made. So I don't really understand what's going on there. But the card is stacked top and bottom. You've got Dino Gamer, Chopper, Reed, Lepo, Cass, Keza, Skitch, Ernesto, Mula, and that's just the prelims. It is going to be an absolute banger. I'm going to jump into the locker room just to put my gloves on and go and scrap, but I'll see you guys on the other side.
Yeah, good luck, brother. Good luck. Got a tough opponent up against him there, Doc. Storm, like I said, very highly rated within Primetime, been around the circuit for quite a little while now and has been doing good work. Brings a really kind of dominant wrestling style when he wants to, but also seems to be able to mix it up in the hands in many of his performances.
Yeah, both of these guys are very well developed, especially Stormy's grappling ability. Humble, though, he's part of that KIA camp. We all know Humble is a true master on the ground. He's got a fantastic wrestling defense. And in the middleweight division, that's probably only going to be more benefit him with, by looks of it, a pick like Robbie Lawler here.
Yeah, Robbie Lawler, that's an excellent pick for somebody like Humble, let's be honest. The guy is an entertaining striker. Obviously streams on his own channels, and there's a reason that he's, got a lot of support, man. He comes out there, he's an entertainer. He doesn't just look to kind of edge these wins, and something like the point system that we have in place at the moment there, Doc, where extra points are awarded for finishes, especially in the earlier parts of the rounds and as you move up those cards. Going in there and getting victories in emphatic fashions go a long way to moving you up those rankings and allowing you opportunities in further. Coming up against a high-level opponent here this evening, fairly ranked opponent, I think he's in with an opportunity to get some steam back going in his favor.
Yeah, and this is what you want. You want to get that quick KO, the quick out. It's in and out action. That's a lot less stress on you. It's a lot less risky in terms of losing the fight further down the future. But by the looks of it, this Jack Hermansson's staying fairly careful, fairly certain. Got a slip hook coming out there, but Humble's on his back foot, just poking jabs down to that body, working the stamp at the very beginning of this round, and it's looking like it's going to be a slow, methodical pace here.
He's mixing it up very quickly there. I mean, with the single leg, as you said it, Doc, right? But no, I seen what Hermansson was doing there. Storm was really taking it to Humble. He knows that he hasn't competed in a little while, so trying to maybe get him while he's a little rusty, while he isn't warmed up, take it to him, put him under pressure, try to make him make a mistake, and ultimately allowed him to get this takedown. And he wasn't able to hold it for too long, Doc, but even so, that's going to be in the mind of his opponent up until that.
That is what you want. Ooh. Digging down the body with the power, Robbie Lawler. Lawler's gassing the tank out there. Does get that head kick follow suit. Lawler just firing a Superman punch. Slightly methodical pace. Definitely
Jesus.
Isn't the take, but the head kick rocks him. Pull back the straight and the elbow narrowly avoid each other. Both of these are in a war and a half, and Lawler's got the power here.
Oh my God, brother. And again, Hermansson tags him. The uppercut, throwing overhands as well. Like I said before, brother, Storm is known for his wrestling, but he's got hands too. He will bring it to his opponents. He sees an opening and he will run with it.
He's coming out like a wrestler, got wild overhands mixing with the takedowns, and that's working brilliantly. He's got a couple of knockdowns, a jab a couple of times, the hooks coming over the side, and nearly gets slip straight there as well. Hermansson probably wants to do another takedown, does so, and gets it landed there.
I mean, that was just before that takedown, very nice takedown, nicely timed once again from Storm, but there was some really nice, head movement from both guys. They were being very efficient with it. Looks like they were trying to make reads on each other and doing so, but Storm now slicing across into top mount, Doc. This is your position. Lots of damage can be rained down from spots like this.
It's interesting. One of the most effective ways to do damage in top mount is just spam straights. Nobody expects it. Does risk a reversal, but it is just you spam straights down the middle. Cam Caliber's notorious for it, I find. If you just spam straights, you get a lot of damage here. Backside, you also do a lot of damage, but looks like Lawler's gone into this back clinch position, looking for another takedown, and now we enter into back sitting here, Looney.
I was going to say, I mean, Humble's, a veteran of the game. He didn't want to sit out in that position for very long, so he got straight up, but I mean, obviously Storm showing his veteran savvy in and of himself, gets it straight back to the mat, fishing for that armbar after getting the denial, but excellent defense on the side of KIA Humble, able to stay patient in these positions and work himself back to slightly safer spots, but like you said, the ground and pound, horrific from positions like this.
Yeah, if you can get it really nicely timed and you just figure out your opponent's defense, you can start opening up the shots, and that is a great way to end the first round. The submission attempts, he tried just to get them to just waste time, but the ground and pound works all the more in Hermansson's favor here.
Mm-hmm. Well. That was a fast first round. Going to start out the second one just as quickly if we know anything about Storm and Mr. Humbledink. Already, this time though, I will say, Humble seems to be trying to fight for that center, Doc. Trying to take charge, maybe push Hermansson back, but he's being met with a bit of fire here.
Well, that's a good way, especially if you know your opponent's going to be shooting takedowns. One of the best ways to counter takedown is putting that pressure on. It means that your opponent's going to be forced to find openings to shoot, and normally those forced openings lead their shots to be a lot easier to read here.
Nice work. Touching him up that block seems fairly compromised, but he manages to get a little bit off that center line and was able to return with a number of combinations. Of course, we cannot see KIA Humble's stats, but he don't need to when the front kick lands that flushly there, Doc. Sits him down momentarily, but you know Humble straight back up if he can.
Straight back up, looking to throw lever to the wall here. Both of them trying to. Lovely slip uppercut does land. Jab straight to the body, also doing the stamina advantage. But at this point, the stamina doesn't matter. Just throw every shot you have, especially when getting wobbled like head kicks from that.
Oh, bro, that could have been dangerous. Humble is absolutely leaving everything in that cage, trying to get some max vulnerability on one of these counters, and Manson is happy to oblige him. Continues with combinations, but it's a back and forth. It's you go, I go. This time Humble knocks him down with that beautiful head kick. Pulls on the pressure, Doc, and he's got him in a dangerous spot, but not out in the woods yet, bro. Just like that.
Go read the head kick, duck down, and he got the finish. That was a brawl and a half. Humble tried his damnedest. The head kick worked first time around, but Manson got the read that second time round, and that was all he needed there.
I mean, goodness. Mr. Humble-Dink entertained us on all of these events, Saturdays, in and out in the commentary booth, doing so in the cage here this evening. Had an amazing dance partner in Storm who was able to get his hand raised after that beautiful duck, timed it perfectly, Doc. You know, there was some madness going on. It was a chaotic fight, and sometimes you zig when you should zag. Humble gets caught. Storm gets his hand raised in a beautiful performance.
That was a beautiful performance. He looked like he got the momentum towards the end of that round. That backside damage, which set up all the damage he had to the head, and that was where it went. Humble tried to work that body, tried to do damage quite early on with that to work the stamina, but Storm came out, worked the head, and that just set the tone for the rest of the fight there.
Yeah, it really did, brother. Really did. That was a beautiful fight, Doc. Like I said, these cards always start off with a bit of a bang. I believe that the next fight up next is on the Xbox side of things. I don't think Lepo's moved across to PlayStation. I believe Cass is also Xbox. Cass up against LW Lepo. LW Lepo been around for a very, very long time, my man. Been fighting with us maybe since the early IFL days, and has a bit of a completely well-rounded approach. He's got a lot of submissions on his record, a lot of finishes with his hands on the record, and I feel the same can be said about Cass, although I believe he more favors the striking, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, Cass is a striker. I can't exactly remember where he comes from off the top of my head, but he's been around for quite a while, if I remember correctly, and he's just built up this general striking ability, as you mentioned. Lepo, on the other hand, he's this guy who'll come out, get submissions, come out, do some striking, do some wrestling. The guy is an all-round. He's a veteran of the game. He's a true MMA artist, if there is one, to be fair here.
Yeah, 100%. Well, after that craziness in the fight, he's now back. He is looking okay. Maybe a little bit concussed, but definitely still with us. How you doing, Mr. Humble-Dink? What a first fight to kick off the card, brother.
First fight? What are you about? Yeah, it was a good fight. Obviously, I had to get Storm to have some Dutch courage after, he tried to nail me a bit in that first round. I wanted to go to Storm, and he did, and he knocked me clean out. So, the crazy thing, I actually caught him with that head kick we've had another fight in prime time, and I actually caught him with that head kick. I think I might have rocked him a few times and dropped him with it. So this time, he got some revenge on me because he ducked it. He knew it was coming as soon as I threw the left hook. Well played, Storm. Great. GG, my man.
Is what it is, my man. But beautiful fight, kicks us off great, and like I said, well, as we were saying, takes us on beautifully to Cass and LW Lepo. I expect this fight to live up to all the hype, much like the first fight did, right? We expected fireworks. That's exactly what we got to see. These two competitors known for very much that. I mean, like I said, the names that stick out for that reason. Not exactly known for being in boring fights by any stretch of the imagination. So, especially with these picks, two heavy hitters. I think these guys are going at it. Even on the mat there, Humble, just to throw it back to you, because Poirier's got that rubber guard, and obviously Emmett's got a nice top control when it comes to the wrestling game all around.
Yeah, in real life, they don't really use their sort of grappling to kind of... Yeah. Not part of their arsenal, essentially, to kind of subdue their opponents, because they've got such good hands. So it depends on who's losing the fight and how their sort of game plans going forward. Obviously, I'm expecting Lepo to mix everything up, and Cass IQ's one of those guys who does the same. But they'll get nasty when they need to, Doc, and you know how that is.
Yeah, well, Emmett's the man with hands of steel, 98. Power pretty much the same in terms of speed, but so far Poirier's the one doing the most of the boxing here. He's landing a jab, landing the hooks cleanly. Lepo hunting that takedown, but that defense is standing nice and now doing a bit of damage, punishing there here, Looney.
Nice work. Trying to fire from the outside, like I said, a lot of circling right now, right? Especially in the early going. Trying to make some reads, trying to frustrate your opponent a little bit can go a long way. Emmett's actually a little bit more taxed in terms of the cardio, maybe some of those cleaner shots connecting nicely, but when he lands there, Humble, he lands massively. A lot of damage lands when either one of those hands connect.
Yeah, he's like a baldy T-Rex with those short arms, though, you know. And Justin Poirier's got to capitalise on that. He's got to use his reach. He's a much bigger fighter. He looks like a welterweight in there against a featherweight. And he's going to reverse the position right now. And as you alluded to earlier on about the ground game, you know, we said these guys will use it, but the characters are kind of not known for it. Nice work, gets back to his feet though. Very interesting and let him up back to his feet. Seems like he wants to give us some prime time guarantee, Doctor.
It does indeed. Already starting to work really well the boxing. He's not really throwing much when he's there. He's kind of waiting for Emmett to just throw something to the encounter. It's something the case of you just stand your opponent straight, wait for them to throw, and then to force them to throw, because just standing there, it gives them that bit of pressure without having to throw here, Looney.
Yeah, honestly, just to throw back to what you were saying a second ago, I thought that Lepo was having a little bit of a problem with the range. Gets the takedown, but nice. I think a little bit of frustration settling in there, Humble. Went absolutely balls to the wall with his ground and pound and gets reversed relatively easy as a result.
I cannot for the life of me understand why he didn't go for a submission right there and stands back to his feet. Just seems like he had his left had no stamina whatsoever. He was in a great position. Didn't go for the submission. Went for a position where he could get back up to the feet. I'm not sure if he fears this man's grappling or he just doesn't want to do it at all. But he certainly. Look, you can see now. Lepo confidence.
That may have just risked him the fight here, because Emmett's got some strong ground and pound. Is keeping it in though. The gassed out manner there could go for a gilly or a sub, but decides not to. Holding this full guard position, rubber guards on the table to get a reversal, as well as just general submissions here, Looney.
Yeah, honestly, you know how much I love the rubber guard. He goes for it right, and I mean, not a lot of position to get anything going, but the stack guard, on the other hand, could have got a lot of ground and pound on going in his favour. Decides to just go for some position, Humble. Bit surprising. We've only got 15 seconds left. That's the time to let those hands go.
Doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, it's almost like he's trying to frustrate his opponent when if you're trying to land damage, you know, if you're frustrating your opponent, you gotta put that on him. I know Jess Emmett's up at the moment. You can see on the scorecards he's had some good rocks right there, but he could have been up even more, Doctor.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how the second round goes. As you mentioned, Cass is seemingly trying to frustrate his opponent. So maybe that's the idea. If he frustrates his opponent into this second round, that's when he's going to be able to do the most damage. Have got to remember, though, Lepo did win that first round, arguably with the knockdown, and thus it can be argued that maybe Cass's plan will backfire, but who's particularly sure? This is only the second round. Only the first round, sorry. We've said.
Well, look, when Cass was going, right, when he was utilising that boxing, and the range advantage that you were mentioning earlier there, Humble, he was absolutely tearing away with combinations, seemed to be out of the way at any time. Lebo was trying to return, and he just needs to be a little bit more elusive, cannot get caught taking pictures. Combinations like that are beautiful, but then he's in the pocket for those massive power shots to come back, and Emmett's capitalising on that anytime he can.
Yeah, it's hard to think clearly as well. I just went through it, so I kind of know. So,
yeah,
it's difficult, especially with depending if you had opponent changes, different things like that, depending on what's going on. It's hard to kind of come up with a game plan and stick to it, especially if these guys have not been sparring or doing stuff all day. So, it usually takes a round, was my point. You might take a round to kind of warm up and realise where you're good, and that's exactly what Cass does right there. That was a beautiful combination and a good usage of the lead overhand as well, Doctor.
Cass has got some beautiful striking. Lepo's trying to keep this on the ground, but every single time Cass just works his way up to some other position that allows him to get back to his feet. Currently having his body torn to shreds. This may be a mistake if he just wants to sit here. Personally, I would pull to half guard and then look for the full guard transition, but it is a viable idea to hold this position.
I mean, more just to frustrate his opponent, though, because obviously he's just got, rocked and sat down. He gets sat down once again. I mean, he could have just been taking moments to recover, but it didn't really matter, not when Cass has got those absolute heat seekers in his hands, Humble. I mean, everything this kid throws seems to land in a big way at the moment.
Oh, nice work. Josh Emmett comes firing back right there. He needs to be in the pocket though, and he's starting to lose the stamina. That's where he's going to struggle because, as you're saying, he's doing a really good job, Cass, at the moment, Cyrus. He's firing away.
But Emmett fires back. Yes, the uppercut as well. Now knocked down, putting on the pressure in the clinch. Both of these guys are relatively hurt easily. Gets dragged down. Poirier does have the most stamina. Could go for a dart if he wanted to. Instead, though, we end up seeing a sprawl position here.
Crazy. Just the chat team alluded about 40 people being messaging about in the chat about the sub offense of Cass and him liking to go for those opportunities because clear submission chances right there, Cyrus, and some of them are really dangerous as well. So very confusing. If he loses this fight, he might be kicking himself essentially.
Yeah, potentially so, but we will see. He is really enjoyed the work he's got done with his hands so far. If he can continue, I mean, look at the face of Emmett right now. He is still in this fight by all means. He is firing back shots, but you can see the pressure of the fight there, Doc, is definitely Dustin Poirier, and he continues to try and capitalize on the, overall advantage in terms of stamina and, I was going to say head health, but he doesn't. He's a little low.
Yeah, both of them got relatively low head health. Both of them hit hard. Emmett hit harder, so in a one-on-one trade, my bet would be Emmett is the winner, but Poirier overall just has the better boxing combos. He's timing them a bit better. He's combining it all just to be a bit slicker here, and that is what he's winning the cast.
I think this might be it.
10 seconds. 6.
Only just survives as the second round's end. These two are... This is a hell of a fight. Back and forth action non-stop here, Looney.
I can't believe he survived that last little flurry at the end. I mean, fuck. Humble. How many times do we see these guys somehow dig down to the depths of hell, make some sort of agreement, and then rise like Tyson Fury, man? Like just gets up like it was nothing and continue that fight. I don't understand it. Especially at this sort of rate. The recovery, man. Just the recovery instincts of these kids is meant.
Yeah. It's like they watched an event last week with The Undertaker in it and all took inspiration. That's exactly what happens every single time. Rise from the dead. Can he rise from the dead right now, though?
Front kick followed by a knockdown taunt. Now jumping straight into his guard, looking to put the utter pace on Lepo. Looking to like and get a finish, but the hook's just keeping him out of it.
Oh, he's got it.
No.
Man, and he gets this sub right here.
I mean, you do have the Von Flue counter you have got to be wary of. Looking like red, though, is creeping up. The blue is going up quickly, though, with the no stam, and this is going to be close here, Humble.
Nice, he's lost it.
Yeah, he's
lost it, yeah.
He's out, but it's a good attempt.
He'll go for an arm triangle, though, as payback. No.
At least the idea was there, my man. He went for it. He's going to try and probably get another one, but Cass is pretty wary about it at this stage. Seems to be minding his P's and Q's and works his way back to his feet and tries to throw those hands again.
Oh, the elbow finally lands. Uppercut. Lead hook looking to get a finish. Now into top mount. Throwing massive ground and pound. Those hooks again did get posted, but the other hooks on the other side. And we get a rage quit.
He did it. He got a rage quit. My God, Cass didn't only finish him. He finished him off in the rage quit department as well. It was looking like Cass. I mean, you've got to be upset if you let Lepo touch gloves, and then get fake glove touched in the third. This is why I don't touch gloves for people. This is why I don't touch gloves for people. It can be used against you, and there's no sort of repercussions for it. You can fight out any way you want in the octagon as long as it meets the rules and regulations, the techniques. But he got the win for it, so Cass did a great job. Unfortunate for Lepo, he is a warrior. He will come back stronger, Doctor. So yeah.
Yeah, that was a fight and a half. Both of them had a back and forth fight. Looked fantastic across the board. And Cass at the end, that front kick may have done the damage, but it wasn't what got him finished. It was a combination, and last time round dropped him from top mount, and that last hook finished him off here, Loney.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But we have, lads, many more epic fights to go here this evening. EK Kez. I always say his name wrong, so I'm sure you can do it a little bit better. Kesler. He's going to be up against KM Sketch. These two guys, well known within the circuit. I'm not going to need to build them up too much there, Mr. Humbledink. I mean, top level striking, ability to do it everywhere. Striking is really where this is at, though. Kind of opposite styles, but entertaining nevertheless, and kind of clash very, very nicely.
Yeah, I've said it time and time again. I was trying to get Skish in my team for a long time, I say my team, our team, and KIA for a long time, just because I knew him and played him amongst the circuit for such a long time. And the guy's got some of the best combinations. It just depends on what mood he's really in, and to say for a lot of people. But Kessler's been around for a long time. He's in a top camp like EK, so. These guys are going to have played a lot, as they have, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out the victor on this one, because it's a very, very even on the records right there.
100%, brother. They are ready and raring to go. KM Skitch, potentially one of the best French players on the scene, period. Looking to do the damn thing here this evening, representing KM as he matches up against EK's new signing in Keza. Doc, I mean, Keza, like we mentioned, been around for a long time, but really known for his ability to put it on his opponents, especially in that striking department, as I mentioned a moment ago. He's normally the guy taking the action to his opponent more often than not.
Yeah, well, Keza is a pressure fighter through and through, and joining up with EK as well, that's going to do massive improvements overall. Talking about Skitch, on the other hand, this man is like, he's Spider-like, if that's a name to compare him to. These two have had a war in the past, and that's kind of Skitch's style. He's a mastercraft in this entire striking style, and you're seeing that here as Keza tries to put the pressure on. He's having to back up to readjust, to figure out where the jabs are coming from, and where to land all these strikes here.
Yeah, it's really difficult for Keza, because he's using essentially Conor McGregor at welterweight, right? And Conor McGregor at welterweight has a lot of disadvantages, especially against Masvidal, he's kind of a big, long striker at welterweight, and he's somebody who's comfortable in that weight class. And it looks like he's just getting a few advantages right now with the reach and a bit of power as well.
I'm telling you, zone in for this one. Do not blink. The amount that happens, in these 0.5 second sort of engagements, the pulls, the slips, the counters, the feints, honestly, just the shot selection, absolutely scattergunning techniques around this octagon. And honestly, I don't think it's going to take too long, Doc, to catch him just like that.
Movement of the head by Skitch. He's just mental with it. Like, every time he throws a strike, his head is off the center line, now going down, looking for this ground and pound. We're on the ground, but I expect not for long. I expect a quick get up. No, a gilly attempt of all things randomly. This is an impressive go. McGregor pulling the gilly out of nowhere.
He could have this. He could have this.
Oh my God, he could. Jesus.
Close. They are fighting neck and neck. Obviously, in the game, you've got to get that bar across the other. It's all about not panicking. He's got the. He missed it there, but Skitch has got to get some space right now.
This is it.
Can he go up? Can he connect behind it? He's got it. Another rage quit! Another one! Oh, we missed it. Oh well. Well, Skitch pulled out. Skitch pulled out of the rage quit right there. It's been a lot of pulling, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Great ability from Conor McGregor. I can't believe he got that.
I can't quite believe he got that either.
Just the fact, right, that those guys were landing some really good shots on each other, but then when Skitch kind of leveled it up, he took it to that next stage where he went from I don't know, man. It went to that next level. For Keza to just stay so composed, to turn that into a submission opportunity, and to ultimately get the finish, you don't see it too often, guys.
He's going to queed.
You don't see it too often.
No, you don't see it too often, and you don't see it from Conor McGregor as well.
Exactly.
It's absolutely crazy right there. And Skitch did really good of landing those combinations, but overexerted himself with his stamina, and that's what happens. And I was going to make a point before him, which is completely irrelevant now, but I was going to say I would like to see both guys kind of slow down in a bit. It's easy for me to say though, Cyrus, when I'm the craziest motherfucker out there when it comes to playing this game, but these guys are high level. I like to see them slow down and set up the shots a bit more. But they were just going through the motions of swinging and just try to land everything all at once in the first round, which is often the primetime guarantee. These guys want to put out quick performances, quick finishes, get them points and leave. You don't get paid by the minute.
Like I said, those points, man, they go a long way, brother. You can catapult yourself up the rankings by going out there, being entertaining, and still getting those results. Of course, there's many ways, right? There's many ways to get this, to get your hand raised in this game. Mixed martial arts gives you a lot of options, a lot of tools at your disposal. But like I said, entertainment is the name of the game, and with entertainment in mind, I think these two competitors up next are going to be continuing in that vein. The primetime guarantee has remained strong so far here this evening, and these next two guys, well-known names within the community. LW Ernesto, representing, of course, the Lethal Weapons camp. He's going to be matching up against one of the primetime veterans in Evo X Panda, or Evo as we more formally know him within the Discord side of things there, Humble. These two competitors, like I said, been around for quite a while on the Xbox side, and I expect fireworks ahead of this battle.
Yeah, of course. And I'm sure it's an Estu that he threw like 5 overhands in a row and caught his opponent, if I'm correct. I can't remember if it was him or Ricardo that threw that, but
that was Ricardo. That was
Ricardo. I'm gonna say both of them guys remind me of each other. So going back to Ricardo, both of them guys remind me of each other because they're both fantastic strikers and they're always both close to each other in the rankings. I always watch their styles and they're very, very similar in how they kind of fight. So Ernesto's always reminds me of the Ricardo-like player, and it's going to be interesting to see how he kind of comes one. He's representing Mexico and going with Yair Rodriguez. It looks like we're going to get another Conor McGregor pick. You never guessed it, would you, Doctor, in these 4-star divisions? Conor McGregor gets demoted to 4 stars by year, and all of a sudden you see him abundance in all these leagues.
I mean, just on a side note, McGregor may have the punching power here, but he's got fantastic health stats. I think even compared to McGregor's here, and his kicks will hit like hell. You just need time and manage the distance, and it's all good to go with Rodriguez here.
Yeah, we will see. There was I didn't see if it was jumping around. They were at about a 250 ping, so I'm surprised. These guys ready and raring to go, though, nevertheless. Looks like they don't want to... They're not here for a long time, Mr. Humbledink. They're here for a good time, and he's about to unload with every weapon that he has at his disposal. Already, these guys may be throwing about 15, 20 punches between them.
Yeah, I like what Rodriguez is doing at the moment, and he's Ernesto's kind of using that outside movement, though. He's picking his shots a bit better, whereas I've seen Panda come out and throw a 3-piece and whiff every shot. He's got to be careful of that because the stamina battle will be easy, essentially, for Ernesto as he goes for a suplex right there. Gets him. We nearly went for a belly-to-belly, Doctor. Old school wrestling Taz move right there, and didn't quite get it, but back to his feet is he quick. Panda and these two are swinging already.
Ooh.
Yeah, these two are swinging like hell. The jabs being used effectively. McGregor's getting a couple of those jabs out. Teep's working body very nicely as well here, Looney.
Yeah, definitely so, brother. The combinations, right? I like the variation, but just the way that these guys are letting loose, there is full confidence in their ability to land damage. LW and Nesto on the side of Yair Rodriguez, Evo Panda on the side of Conor McGregor, landing a big head kick. And just to throw this back, isn't it not still surprising that more people don't ban Conor McGregor? Why are people banning him?
I was going to say the same thing. You get a ban in prime time. Featherweight, welterweight, or lightweight, you can ban Conor McGregor and stop it. Because I pick him as well in like ranked and stuff. He's OP as hell. He still is, always will be. But it is what it is. And Panda is starting to put him on him right now. And Nesto needs to keep that jab going, use the range, use the teeps, the lunges, strikes to kind of put him off there and keep him at distance so he can't land his combination punching and kicking. Doctor.
Yeah, he can't. And he's having a fantastic fight here. McGregor's now putting on the pressure, looking to make him suffer. That power of McGregor, making it so difficult to finally come back here, Looney.
Honestly, Evo, I'm having a new appreciation from his striking style. He's done a number of stutter steps just like that one right there, which have been absolutely beautiful. Honestly, I feel like he's overthinking some of his combinations there, Humble, and getting a little bit wild with it. He's doing really good defensively, though, just kind of missing on some of the big counters that he's had available.
Yeah, when I'm dialed in and you're thinking about stuff, it's like quite simple when you think about it. When your opponent throws a lot of straight shots down the middle, and that's kind of what they rely on. You've seen the jab come, you've seen the switch kick. Sorry, you've seen the push kick kind of come in the teeps, things like that. You just flick left on your left analog stick, you flick right on your left analog stick, and it'll dodge those shots. It'll make your opponents whiff slightly, and it'll put you in a good position, and that's exactly what Panda's kind of doing. But mainly his accuracy from some of his shots has been brilliant. But Rodriguez is starting to actually damage him, Doctor.
Yeah, Rodriguez now finally come back. That's the overall health stats looking like it. If he can leg kick a bit more, he's going to really reduce that power, and that is what he wants to do here.
Yeah, trying. I mean, look, a lot of evasive movement being used in that fight. I do feel like I said, momentum may have started to be edged in the favor of Yair, but these guys going to come out a little bit more rejuvenated after the 60-second rest interval here. Humble, especially on the side of Conor. Like I said, he's a bit of a front runner, so that little burst of energy he's going to get back, I imagine that's going to be fully maximized coming into the second round.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to capitalise on that if you're Rodriguez and try and take away that option. You've got to realise the start of the round is going to be his best sort of area to kind of come. I'm going to have to land some of those shots, and he's kind of sidestepping a lot of my shots at the moment, so that's where you go with the likes of the roundhouse kicks to the body, not getting caught in the pocket, because that's the key. You throw a kick to the pocket while you're in the pocket, and your opponent steps in with a combination, you're going to get put on the floor, just like you see me do earlier on.
Well, man, he is taking some of your advice, chopping into that leg kick over and over again, rounded, stopping his opponent getting off that center line, and that's forced Conor McGregor to start to throw some hands in, some frustration, and then Nesto, he seems to be dialing in now, man, zoned in those first 5 minutes, clearly warmed him up, got him alert, and seems to be trying to get this fight done right here, right now.
He is, and he's starting to jab. Oh, nice jab from Rodriguez, keeping his opponent back right there. And like I said, if you're Panda right now, you've got to keep your composure. You've got to come up with a different game plan. You've got to kind of capitalize on what your opponent's doing now. He's attacking the leg, so you've got to chop him. You've got to give him something to think about as he's coming in and throwing that leg kick, Doctor.
Yeah, he's trying there. There's been heel kick there, and now the legs are coming out.
Oh!
Lovely stun there. Uppercut only just getting off the center line. Dig down the body onto top as well. Yeah, he is trying his hardest to find any types of shot here, but McGregor's making sure to keep his head off center line when he really needs to here, Cyrus.
Yeah, his block is absolutely devastated right now, though. Big openings when he can, like that pull-off elbow. He needs a little bit more, just like that, Humble. Sits him down. Now he needs to pour on the pressure. There's 2 minutes 20, and he's got his opponent hurt and probably doubting himself. That's got to be a bit of a confidence knock at this later stage.
Yeah, definitely. Nestor was doing a fantastic job of making Panda worry about the range.
Oh, my! Oh my!
Oh,
that's going to be it, right? There's no way.
And that is it. That's a fantastic job by Ernesto there. Fantastic job putting on that pressure, finding the shot, ducking under a kick, and then coming out like that.
Yeah, I was just alluding to the point that what he was doing is a great job of making his opponent start to throw kicks in the pocket. He was giving him a worry with the range and making Panda start to use more kicks. And when Panda was using more kicks, he was either making him with or stepping in there with a box combination of his own. And that's where Ernesto was really shining in that second round, Cyrus.
Yeah, no, man, it was beautiful work. Honestly, like I said, he was dialed in. You could see that he was refocused. I don't know, of course, if he had guys in his corner, right? A lot of the guys that come from camps normally, sit down in a party with maybe 1 to 3 of them, right? Kind of approach this as you would, any other kind of competitive fight, and make sure that you've got the people on hand to give you the valuable information to help you make those adjustments. Whether or not he did that on his own or not, Ernesto getting those adjustments early in the second round, and that propelled him, man. That propelled him. He looked really, really good here this evening. I'm interested to see what he can do going forward.
Definitely. Great work. And obviously, we've had some crazy fights already. We're already, what is it now? We're about 40 minutes in. And we've already had a ton of absolute bangers for you guys to enjoy. But now we're going to be moving on to the next fight. If it hasn't been changed, it's going to be Chopper Reed versus Jackson, if I'm correct, Doctor. And Chopper Reed obviously coming from another promotion, a champion of one. He is an Aussie coming over there. Jackson, you see his name in the rankings every single day in the top 100. So it'll be interesting to see how Jackson does. And I don't know if that's a new camp. I'm not sure if I've been away or something. But BK is our new camp, Doctor?
Yeah, but his slight correction, Jackson sadly got stuck up the infamous tree, so in his place is the mighty Eagle MMA, the guy who made his debut against Styles and is looking to make a comeback this time around against Chopper Reed.
Honestly, Humble, I'm going to jump in real quick on this one. Eagle MMA coming out, debuting against Styles. I think he took that fight on short notice. And
I spotted him recently, yeah,
he did.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm interested to hear how that went in a second, Humble, but like just the fact that he came out here, right? He had the confidence, the downright belief that he is one of the best on this game, if not the best, period. And he went with, what was it, Ben Askren up against Styles, who was GSP.
GSP.
I mean, that requires not only a lot of confidence. Some people would have said a little bit of insanity was at play, right? But he went in there. He looked fucking good, bro. He hung in there for a very good while, did some damage, and looked dangerous. So now he's going to be refocused, taking this a bit more seriously, I would imagine, after that setback. I can't wait to see what he's able to do.
He's fighting Chopper Reed, though, and Chopper Reed, I'm pretty sure Chopper Reed is 2-0. I'm 90% Doc, you might be able to correct me on that one. But he's had some fantastic performances in Primetime so far. He got tested to the limit in his last fight. I can't remember if that's a fight he lost or won, but I remember it being an absolute war.
Pretty sure he's 2-0.
2-0, yeah. Both guys looked incredible. I think Chopper took it in that last round. So, if I can remember correctly, Chopper Reed has came close to losing his last fight, but he managed to get over it. And it's just like Khamzat Chimaev, right, Doctor? You still find a way to win. But he's fighting someone, in my opinion, who's fantastic. And it's going to be an interesting fight because Eagle MMA can do it all. He likes to grapple. He likes to strike. And he gets offended quite easily, though. So, it'll be interesting to see how Chopper... if you can wind him up and kind of do some stuff in there.
Well, I mean, look, if you know that your opponent is, let's say, sensitive to a little bit of mental warfare, then I suppose that mental warfare must be the game that's played, right? Paddy Pimblett, we will see if Liverpudlian Scousers can get knocked out here this evening. Max Holloway is stepping across from him. He doesn't have the heaviest hitting hands, but, I mean, come on.
I knew
Paddy, the baddie Pimblett versus Mac the Blessed Holloway. This is definitely a matchup I wasn't expecting to see tonight, but it's a matchup I will welcome nonetheless. This is the lightweight division. Chopper Reed with a Holloway pick. Holloway's not as powerful as he's in featherweight, so he's got a bit less cardio. Hits a bit harder, it turns out, if I'm pretty sure. But Paddy the baddie Pimblett, overall stats aren't particularly great here to Humble, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they're not fantastic, and they never are when they introduce new characters to the game, especially 3.5-star guys. They always put them. It's crazy because Paddy Pimblett's actually 18-1, which is a lot better record than a lot of people in the UFC. So it's interesting. I know he's not rated on his previous, but he's got a really good record. He's been fighting since he's 15-year-old. By the way, the ping. People keep complaining. The ping. We try and match everybody up based on rankings. A lot of times you do have to fight people across the world. You can't just duck somebody because they're from Australia and you're not. And a lot of times it doesn't matter about where they're from if they've got good internet. So you can see there's kind of a stable ping between these two. And Chopper Reed usually has clean fights, if I'm correct, Cyrus, and I don't really see any issues there.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's all about the stability, right? And if there's ever an issue with the opponents, and opponents want to pull out because of their ping issues, if it's a little bit too high, then obviously that's something that's often kind of discussed and determined before we get to this stage. So these guys are all ready and raring to go, of course. As you mentioned, it is stable. It's not jumping from 250 to 300. I and many of the guys within the community have, sparred, the likes of Dover Blazing and so on. Some of our lovely Aussie friends over there, and if they've got good internet, as you mentioned, those fights are more than able to continue. And I for one, I'm happy that we get to see this, at least in this case, there, Doc. I mean, two guys have entertaining styles, done a lot within the community.
I am as well. I'm just hoping this is 3 rounds.
It is,
Please
brother.
tell me this.
It is.
Congratulations, Eagle. First time round now, third time the charm. However, they're already starting with the boxing fight. Paddy Pimblett Print.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to stop saying that name. Already putting on the boxing combinations. Holloway, though, is coming back as well here, Humble.
Yeah, Paddy Pimblett, Doctor. Pimblett, he's doing a fantastic job of going forward, and that's exactly what Eagle MMA likes to do. He likes to get in his opponent's face. He likes to put the pressure boxing on there. Sometimes fights on the back foot, but when he's really trying, when he really wants to beat his opponent, I always see him pressure boxing. Sometimes that's at his detriment, and it might be against Chopper, because Chopper is one of those guys that warms himself into a fight. He starts to land big combinations and eventually kind of wears his opponents down, as you're seeing right now. Got a kick in the pocket, you get punished.
Yeah, and he seems to get just out of range more often than not. Of course, he knows he's going to trade some of them, but a very, very nice approach. I'll be honest, I haven't had the opportunity to play the game personally, so this is the first time I'm seeing Paddy Pimblett inside the octagon.
Oh, nice.
You're not missing much, to be honest. I don't particularly like him.
Damn, Doc.
You're really not missing much. He does have a flying triangle, I suppose.
You don't like to say his name, that's all it is. He's actually got really good head kicks.
What, Paddy Baddie Pimblett? No, I don't.
Exactly. He's got really good head kicks. He's got really good submissions and stuff like that. So there's some sneaky little things that he has got. But when you're fighting someone like Max, you're going to be at a detriment because Paddy's not been updated. He hasn't really been fighting. He's new to the game, according to somebody who's been in the game. And one of his second or third fights was against bloody Conor McGregor, So it is what it is, but Paddy Pimblett is getting reversed right now. He did go for the takedown, and this is where he's apparently good, Cyrus.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, he's got submissions. galore. Has the rubber guard
and
at
the
his
rubber
disposal.
guard.
Whoop, whoop.
This could be a legitimate threat. Does get out of it though, and now back to full guard. Does go for the posture up. Looks to disengage. Now we're back on his feet. I'm expecting Paddy Pimlet to go straight back to that leg kick of his. He's been working Holloway's leg for quite a while, and that's probably done a lot of damage by now.
Definitely, and thank you to it was just under 100 people I looked earlier on that were watching us on Primetime MMA. If you want to join and get involved with Primetime, we will put a link in the chat. You can be one of these guys who try and get every single person to fight every single week. It might not be live, but you will get one even if it's on air to build yourself in the rankings, to get on these main cards and for us commentating for your fights. Back to the action, and there was a nice little exchange right there, getting back into the centre of the octagon. A bit of positioning going right now, Cyrus.
Yeah, exactly right, brother. Exactly. Oh my
Oh,
God! Sits him down with a
Holloway.
Yeah, I mean, who said Holloway didn't have power in those hands? God damn, not me, bro. Not me. He sits him down. The combinations, though, death by 1,000 cuts. And honestly, right now, Chopper doing a fantastic job of just landing a better accumulation of the shots. Of course, Paddy Pimlet, the baddie himself, still in this fight, Doc, and trying to answer back, being very, very kind of reserved in the way that he's not reserved, I suppose, composed, I suppose is the best way to say it, brother. He's being composed, he's having some adversity, but doesn't seem to be falling under that pressure quite yet.
Yeah, no, he's not falling under that pressure so far. Did get knocked down, but it's Holloway. He's going to have that title, so it's going to take a while to work him down. The only issue is, in between rounds, he has a hell of a lot of recovery, Humble. And so, if Paddy can't get the finish in that second round, he's got to build on that damage again and again.
Nice work right now. Yeah, and Eagle might be just realising, like, these guys probably haven't played each other. They don't really know each other too well. You know, you can tell by the ping how well some people have played each other and know each other. And Eagle MMA would have thought he was going to win this fight. Chopper would have thought he's going to win this fight. So they're coming out right now, and the first round's kind of a tester. This is the real round where you get to see the adjustments that each guy's going to make. And you can already tell that Eagle MMA wants to stand with his opponent and start to go to the body with the boxing combinations. But is that why, Cyrus? I'm not sure.
I mean, obviously, it's he's doing all right when he's going first. That's the thing, right? I mean, it seems to be all about who's going first right now. When Paddy is landing just like that, he seems to land with massive amounts of damage. But of course, Chopper Reed is well aware of this and chooses to capitalize on pushing back in beautiful flurries, utilizing some of the cardio advantages that Max Holloway has against most opponents and trying to push the pace. And, you know, as you can see, never mind!
Oh! That's the issue, even when you're winning the fight. Flying triangle, although, does get it, and that's how guard Holloway goes.
It's the only problem with flying combinations, Doc, is like every time you go for a flying combination, your opponent regains stamina, even if you drain their stamina. So it makes no sense for have them in the game because, you know, you've worked hard to get the stamina low. You go for a submission, and as you do it, their stamina starts going back up. It's kind of one of those things. Anyway, gripe with the game, but I like the sort of ambition there from Eagle MMA.
Really grinds my gears. No, it's
it pisses me off.
No, I'm with you, bro. Whoa, that was some nice work right there, though. Gets the head health blinking for just a moment and continues to rip to that body. Honestly, you can see the work that Eagle MMA has put into the game. A well-rounded opponent, but Chopper continues to chop away at his opponent's all-round health statistics. That head popping back like a Pez dispenser at this stage. Has to be careful of those kicks. Lands with every single punch he throws.
And digs down to that body. Does gas himself out. Spinning elbow to the head. Does get blocked, I'm pretty sure. But Paddy Pimlet comes back. Digs down the body. Holloway using that footwork, flying knee attempt there. Now a head kick also gets blocked, and digging down to the body, the head scatter gun techniques, cross the wall, and a front kick.
Oh, Jesus
well,
Christ.
Turns out Scousers can get knocked out.
Anyone want to see a body?
This is Sparta, literally.
This is Sparta.
Literally pushed him down a well right there. But Paddy Pimlet, I thought, do you know what? Eagle MMA was doing really well, in my opinion. With Paddy the Baddy, like, you've got to take in consideration he was a 3.5-star character that he can't have played much with because he's only just came out against potentially the toughest fighter on the game, the hardest fighter to fight, the guys with the most sort of combination move sets and kicks, and you know, he doesn't get tired, and Max Holloway. So great effort from Eagle MMA, but Chopper Reed does what Chopper Reed does, and that's go 3-0 in the PlayStation division. It's going to be a big fight sooner or later for Chopper Reed. He's fighting at the top end of that prelim card now, Cyrus. He's knocking on the door, essentially, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly right, man. He keeps doing great things, pushing back another rising star in Eagle MMA. That guy is still somebody I'm going to be keeping my eye keenly on for certain. I mean, I think Eagle has a bright future ahead of him if he continues to put, in the time and work on his craft like he has been. You can see that, he's a dangerous opponent, but once again, just fantastic work from Chopper, showing that he is one of the better fighters on the scene, and just like I said, slowly and securely adding up those W's. So much respect, and it takes us beautifully on to the next one, Doc. KM Caliber, a man that we all know and love, has been around the scene for a very long time, going up against another veteran of the community in Dino Gamer. I believe these are on Xbox, am I wrong?
Yep, KM Caliber versus Dino Gamer is an Xbox fight in the lightweight division, if I read that correctly. Can't say tiny bit too small. Anyhow, Caliber is a man known for his later replacements. This is his second week in a row where he's actually doing a booked fight only for once, believe it or not. That's probably in the record for Caliber. Dino, just a quick rundown on him. He's an Australian who loves his takedowns. He's a grappling nightmare to fight. He's very well rounded in that game, but he's also, from what I've been hearing, building up his striking recently to make him a threat there. So you have possibly, like we've seen earlier, with like the guy with the main event, such as Jakey, haven't seen a grappler turn into a striker here tonight.
Definitely, and a bit of insight about Dino and Caliber. Actually, see Dino talking a lot in different streams and stuff like that recently, and he's always in Jay's stream, and he's actually been saying he's not very confident going this fight against Caliber, because Caliber he's a very high caliber fighter. He's in a great team. He's a tough opponent. But for me, Dino Game has been really impressive so far. Don't be going about pings as well. He's from Australia. It's gonna happen every single time. Look how steady it is. 152, stop. Yeah. See what I mean? 153, stop. That's a steady ping. It doesn't usually affect the game, and if you know anything about the game, you'll realise that doesn't actually matter sometimes.
Yeah, especially in the way that the game is set up, right? But nevertheless, I was going to say, we can't have a fight. As much as I'd love to see the blonde, the Bronx come out here, not quite yet. The main card is when we would get the opportunity. Anthony Pettis up against Eddie Alvarez, if my eyes didn't deceive me. This should be an absolutely fucking crazy war, Humble.
Yeah, it's a tough fight as well, because for me, I don't like Alvarez. I really struggle using him, and he's he's like Josh Emmett. He's like very short, T-Rexy sort of arm style, and a lot of the body types on these games, some of them just don't quite work. Whereas Anthony Pettis, he fights very well, very good with his movement, on his toes at all times, able to move, but he struggles against boxers who catch him kicking, essentially. That's where Caliber comes in with a straight shots down the middle and kind of catches the opponent from doing that.
Jesus. Well, we've already had a flying knee thrown out. Both of these are working the body, the leg kicks and the body kicks across the board so far. Caliber's done a fantastic job, though, currently managing the range. Does get clipped with the head kick there, and the pace of Eddie Alvarez with that cardio and recovery is going to make him a nightmare against someone like Pettis.
Oh, bro, madness with the flying knee, trying to bring out the inner doggy is Eddie Alvarez, not able to do so with KM Caliber, absolutely chopping wood right there. Does eat an overhand though, Humble. These guys not leaving much to be desired. Just honestly, absolutely terrifying combinations coming out all which ways, bro. Look at that.
Ooh.
Every single time. I mean, the Anthony Pettis pick, like I said, is one of those picks that if you get going with it, it's tough to deal with. It's tough, really tough to kind of stop, because he's got everything. He's got the jumping kicks, he's got the cartwheel kicks, he's got jump off the fence, for God's sake. He kick you in the face like he did Benson Henderson. So you've got to be careful not walking into that.
Oh.
But Dino Gear showing off the impressive striking so far and catching his opponent with a beautiful head kick, Doctor.
Beautiful head kick and no body kick there. Both of these guys are just going at it. Does try to get another kick off there, but the side kick into that body kick again, working that cardio just a bit more here, Cyrus.
Oh my God, brother, misses that first kick. Now he's got Eddie Alvarez absolutely unloading all of his stamina, put himself into a compromised position, and Caliber's turning it around, Humble. This is fucking crazy, as to be expected with these two guys. Jesus.
And you said Dino was
also, yeah, I don't know.
You said Dano's like a really good grappler. He likes to grapple a lot like that. You know, the bit of inexperience right there of offloading too much. You can't. It's not like the ground game, right, Doc? You can't overexert yourself in a certain position on the ground because you'll have.
I think what Humble was trying to say was you don't need to overexert yourself in certain positions, otherwise you'll just get reversed, and that sometimes is what happens, and that's why you've got to be careful as well as on the ground as on the feet, especially with how Caliber got the knockdown there.
Exactly.
There you go. Picked it up beautifully, right? Like nothing ever happened there, Humble.
Nothing happened.
I literally just said, you are disconnected, and I just went, I connected. You went, you are connected. I was like, okay. What the hell? Anyway, we're back. We're back.
Oh, well, we see Dino again getting a bit over-aggressive, looking to get a finish. Caliber getting reversal now into side control here. Cyrus probably just going to clear out the last 15 seconds of this first round.
Yeah, crazy amount of pace, man. I'm not surprised they want to slow it down just a little bit on the map. Going into the second one, I expect them to start out much like they did the first Humble. Balls to the wall, brother. Balls to the wall. No time wasted. I don't imagine they're looking to make adjustments based on their opponent here in any sort of maximum, massive way. I feel like these guys know what got them to the dance, and that's exactly what they plan on continuing to do.
I see a slight adjustment from Caliber to go to the body a lot more and to start to tax that stamina, because I feel like Dino was doing a great job in the first place of landing head kicks and stuff, but Dino's the one who actually comes out with the first adjustment and shoots for a takedown straight away. Gets denied though, and Caliber gets back to the feet. Gonna struggle now. Oh, it comes out of nowhere, Doctor. Just misses.
Just misses indeed. Head kick there again. They are being Caliber's enemy this fight, but it does go head kick of his own fault. But that spinning body kick, which is beautiful. Thought he's going to go one there. He doesn't. Ducks under the head kick a bit too early. Another body kick to that body, and that just keeps getting work. Here we go. See a ankle pick that does get defended. Caliber's now, I feel like he's starting to get a bit more feel for this fight, and he's really going to start opening up a bit more here, Cyrus.
Yeah, you're kind of going to have to, brother. Going to have to. You really can't allow Dino Gamer to get back into this fight. The flashiness is all well and good. You are in the driving seat potentially, but you can't be edged, and activity is key. It may put him off shooting some of these takedowns, giving away some dominant positions. When you're on the feet as somebody like Anthony Pettis and you're winning, you're the one in a dominant position, Humble. So try to maximize that. Try to continue to land just like that, brother. And, take the fight to your opponent.
Nice work right there. Ends it with he threw a combination, ended with an axe kick at the end, which you don't often see. So you can tell Caliber's got some combinations he kind of wants to throw in this fight, and he is throwing them, trying to work those ones. You've got to be careful you don't overthink those sometimes. Sometimes when you're working a new combination, you've kind of got to let it naturally fit into your game plan, which he seems to have done. But Dino Gamer shoots for another takedown. His stamina does not look good. And with grappling, it's all about stamina advantage as well, and kind of building that grappling advantage with your stamina. And it's tough. It is really tough, Doc, when you've got no stamina.
It's very tough indeed, but by the looks of it, Caliber's had a successful job now going into that full guard position. Easy way to get up here as soon as he builds some type of advantage. Eddie Alvarez, though, getting very aggressive on that ground and pound he has done before. Luckily, didn't get reversed, but now we see a reversal here into backside here, Cyrus.
Yeah, very, very active, whether it be on the feet or on the ground, riding out these positions. Do seem to be taking a moment just to try and make some reads on their opponent. Alvarez doing just that, beautifully blocking the back take. Needs to be, generally more a little bit careful, though. Potentially needs to get back to his feet, Humble, because of course ground and pound is an option which Caliber is well aware of.
Yeah, he's trying to loosen some of that stamina up as well. Like Alvarez is going to waste some stamina essentially if he keeps grappling. Like if he tries to get up and it gets a fail, but it goes against him, and goes against Caliber, and Dino's going for the ground and pound, trying to hurt his opponent. Does he have the get up there? He does. He goes straight back to the feet, and Dino now is going to try and take him back to the ground. Or knee him in the head. One of those two, Doctor. Doesn't quite get it off.
10 seconds left in this round. Still both of them are doing a head kick, though, as he goes for a spinning heel kick. And that is a hectic way to finish this second round.
I'm surprised he isn't out. I'm surprised he's not out, bro. Out. Like, he was spinning. He spun into a fucking shin square to the dome, Humble. He just effed it like it was nothing.
Yeah, he would.
He would.
But yeah, I'd like to see Optics kind of utilize some of the basic combinations. Your opponent's throwing a lot of big hefty shots. You know, there's a lot of things coming like axe kicks, spinning back kicks, things like that. Teeps. You got to use basic combinations, basic movements to kind of capitalize on those. But the stamina is a really tough one, and you going to grapple is not going to help that.
Ooh. Counters that flying knee, finally, lovely counter. Dino stuck on his ass and gets stuck on his ass again. Caliber's having a well for him, and the elbow there also follows suit by a couple of those body shots here, Looney.
Potentially the beginning of the end for Dino Gamer. Caliber absolutely zoning in, has the advantages, switching stance, seems to be trying to tempt his opponent into a big spin. You know that some of those big misses are just to set up the next one, and honestly, Dino Gamer really needs to kind of almost hit the Hail Mary, I feel, at this point, Humble.
Yeah, and it's up to Caliber to kind of give him that as well, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Caliber's got to be careful and not overexert himself and throw in one of those big shots and sticking to the basics, using your jab to the body, jab to the head, using the straight punches, and then setting up your kicks really nicely. And he's looking to do that right now. You can see he's kind of...
Oh, no! He almost gave it to him!
Jesus, that's Caliber's speciality. He's just doing so well in the fight and then accidentally throwing it away. Digs down to that body, gets the body wobble. Now he's back up onto the feet. He is aware that he gets more points, so he gets the finish quicker, but it seems like he's just looking for a fancy KO here with Pettis.
Nice work right now. Pushes the point where go for the axe kick. He's got, like I said, he's got a lot of moves he wants to showcase tonight, and you know, you can get over get caught up on them sometimes, Cyrus, and that's exactly what he's been doing in some of this fight. Even though he's dominated and landed some hefty shots, the stamina's been a problem for Dino. He's got caught a few times.
He really has, but he's getting caught quite a lot. Obviously here in this late stage of the third round right now, Caliber firmly in the driving seat, keeps allowing his opponent little opportunities to get back into it, but look at the stamina, the body health, the head health there, Doc. Dino's right on the edge.
He's trying his hardest here. Caliber's looking for that one final shot to do it. But he just can't. The recovery, the general health of Eddie Alvarez is keeping him. Takedown shot does land, but he has no stamina.
He doesn't. I mean, this is craziness, brother. Honestly, as the one and only J Dime said, Alexa, play "I Will Survive." This is
don't say that in my house. Everything goes off and I don't even know. Oh, nice work right now, and this could be. He looks like he's trying to make a point. Can he get a finish to get those extra points? Caliber's got him on the ropes, and Dino gold.
The flying knee back in retaliation. Dino tried a couple of times, didn't land. He's got countered, got knocked down, and Caliber though finally lands a flying knee, putting the poor man Eddie Alvarez to sleep.
Honestly, Caliber came in between rounds once and said, I can't land anything flashy on this guy. Closes the fight out with a flying knee there, Humble. I suppose he landed one of that flashy shit at least after a lot of great fundamentals that not only got him to the dance, makes him an entertaining fighter all round, and is ultimately why a lot of fighters get their hand raised, right? The great fundamentals backed up with the ability to be creative in that cage.
Yeah, definitely. And just a quick one for Caliber as well. He knows as well that when you throw a certain combination and a head kick and your opponent starts to duck, you need to switch it up for the third shot to be a shot coming down the middle that's going to catch that duck. And that's the simple adjustment he made right there for a push kick or for a flying knee down the middle, as he thought his opponent was going to duck for the head kick, and that's exactly what happened. And there's your flash for you, a double barrel knee shotgun to the face. Great performance for Caliber, and Dino will be back. It's nice to see Dino strike as well, though. I do like the development. You have to put yourself in awkward positions and in tough positions and lose a lot before you start getting good in a certain area. You have to do it.
Yeah, exactly right, brother. Well, I feel like the pace of this evening continues very, very strong. We're going to be taking this opportunity to get right into the next one. The featured fight of the prelims here this evening, Doc. Moolah up against Clarky. What can you tell us about these two competitors?
These two are both pretty good across the board. Moolah is part of the TT camp, which has been quite established now, and so I expect Moolah to go on for this more striking pedigree. So will Clarky, and so I'm expecting an all-round fight from both of these guys here tonight. Humble.
Yeah, definitely. Moolah's the fact, like, he's one of those guys that people don't like to play because he's awkward. He likes to mix it up and be dangerous. He has if I remember correctly, he uses that front knee really, really well. And Clarky's always around the top in the division every single time, top 100 every single time. I'm not sure how these guys are doing at the moment in the primetime rankings. If Doc can pull that up, that'd be amazing. But these two are going with Sean O'Malley, the Sugar Shaw, versus Cody Nochin Garbrandt, and we know what we say about this. We know what we say about Cody. Cyrus, you never go full Cody. You know, you've got to be careful. You've got to watch that chin, and you've got to be careful against a sniper like Sean O'Malley as well.
Yeah, you want to go a little Garbrandt, but you don't want to go complete Garbrandt, right? So we'll see in this one, brother, because he needs to be active here. He needs to effectively have both the ability to pressure and to get up the hell out of dodge against the rangy fighter, because like you said, O'Malley, he will hit the button more often than not. His precision is something, you know, to be completely and utterly beholded. Honestly, it's very, very dangerous to close that distance, especially when utilized correctly. He's such a big guy for that division in terms of the height department there, Doc.
Yeah, and both of these guys are just ballistic currently. O'Malley's not being given that range, but he's also not letting it bother him. He's keeping him in the boxing, looking to counter at any point he can. So far, that's what he's doing. Although that block is going to get worked down really quickly if he doesn't get his head movement. Just keep it off the centre line here.
Yeah, it's working. Both these guys have fought stiff competition in prime time a couple of seasons. Moolah coming off kind of fighting the top ranked guys and coming off the losing effort of that, so he needs to really keep on it if he wants to stick up that top in the division. And you've got someone like Clark who's coming up who really wants to set aside his winning record and push himself into that top echelon. So really fighting for place here, Cyrus, and it's kind of a changing of the guards if Clarky wins, and if Moolah wins, it's the same old. You know, Moolah's going to be challenging those guys who kind of beat him and put himself right back in the position for redemption, essentially.
Oh, and I was going to say, that's a really nice mix-up, just to lead on from that, my man. Taking down Sugar Sean O'Malley, especially when, you know, obviously Cody, training with the likes of Uriah Faber, knows how to grapple for sure. The wrestling's going to be strong, although probably a little bit underutilized. You know, in this sort of fight, though, being the shorter of the two guys, probably going to have a little bit of an issue covering the distance because of those front kicks right there. That takedown can mean a world of difference in your favor, Doc.
It really can, and just making sure to always just mix in that fight, mixing the grappling just across the board. You can just mix up your game, and I think I've said the word mix up 3 times here, Humble.
Yeah, you can mix the word up as well, Doc, if you want. As the jab comes from Moolah, he's doing a good job trying to use it. I'm sorry, Doc. And look, we have a great relationship here on Primetime, guys. We take the piss out of each other all the time, but yeah, we have to. You know, it keeps it entertaining. But lovely little check hook right there from Moolah. And I really think that Clarky's struggling with the range at the moment for Moolah. Moolah's not kind of pushing past the centre of the octagon. He's really inviting the pressure from Garbrandt. And if Garbrandt goes full Garbrandt, as Cyrus says so fluently, you know, it's going to be lights out, essentially. He's got to be really careful of Sean's precision.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man, for sure. And it's because of the chaotic kind of creativity that he brings to the cage, the ability to fire flying knees up, the spins in and of themselves can be fated beautifully. But right now, Cody doing a great job of just touching him with virtually everything that he puts out there. You can see that the damage is starting to wear on the face of Moolah, and he's starting to second guess himself to open up there, Doc. He doesn't want to, you know, put himself in a position for vulnerability to land, or for Cody to land with any sort of big damage due to his vulnerability when he opens up.
Yeah, well, yes. Oh God, a lovely spinning body kick there. Now finally gets a knockdown. Finally found the open window for that vulnerability and went full Garbrandt at the right time, closing the end of round 1. Can I just say, the amount of body kicks both of them are throwing at each other. It's like one walks back, gets body kicked, the other walks back, gets body kicked. If at one point, one of these guys is going to have to make the adjustment of standing their ground and just throwing a boxing combo underneath it. You get you have massive vulnerability with those rear body kicks if timed incorrectly. And so if they stop walking away from each other and just stand their ground, Humble, I feel like you could find one of those big vulnerability windows here.
If you look at that last shot he throws right now, it goes to throw a spinning kick to the body. So, you know, it's what you're talking about. And you are right. The best time to throw a body kick is when your opponent's moving backwards, just outside of the boxing range, in mid-range essentially, because that kick's going to land him perfectly, and his guard's going to be up to protect his face as he exits the pocket. So it is correct. You've got to kind of stand your ground sometimes and mix up your range combinations. But these two come back out in the centre, and it's mainly boxing at the moment. Cyrus, be interested to see if we're going to switch it up after the end of that round.
Yeah, brother, like. going back to what Doc was saying, right? Somebody planting. I thought it was going to be Cody, but Moolah seems to be the guy trying to do just that. The boxing combinations are absolutely sensational. Followed up with those knees and now trying to get the finish. Cody will survive once again, but for how long, Humble? Only time will tell, my man.
I got dizzy for a second because the cameramen didn't know what they wanted to do right there. They were like shooting a 70s porn movie. I never fucking clue what was going on. Anyway, they go back. He looks like he's going to go for the guillotine. He does, and all of a sudden, these guys are... I can't believe Sean O'Malley. I was going to say we're going to see 2 guillotine finishes from Conor McGregor and Sean O'Malley. That'd be just what a strange night that would have been. But good position right now for O'Malley, pinging the body away, trying to get Garbrandt to lose some of that stamina going forward. And Clarkey needs to do something to take this away from him.
Number deny there. Now goes for another gilly, I want to say. Yeah, we're going to see another gilly. This is entirely possible. So far, though, Blues managing to get quite a good chunk. Does ditch on it very early on. Probably going to go back to working those body shots. You've got to imagine Cyrus as Clarkey looks for a way to get back up onto his feet.
Yeah, I mean, his submission defense has been relatively strong up until this stage, but the stamina, the kind of, one to get back to your feet so quickly continues to put him in dangerous positions here, Humble, and this one could end up being close if he's able to track that bar for the next couple of seconds cleanly.
Yeah, definitely. And people don't quite understand this position sometimes, but if you're a good player, you understand that you need to reverse them into mount, which is exactly what
he wants.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you got the submission, essentially, you can still go for it, but you want it to end up in the mount position, and eventually you're gonna... Oh, he gets half guard though, because he held onto it for a bit too long, Doctor. Smart thing would have been to bail on that one.
Maybe he looked fairly close. Maybe the O'Malley was getting a bit greedy, hoping that he could maybe finish the fight. Instead, though, back up onto the feet. Seems like the guillotine was an actual sub attempt, maybe you got to imagine. But now Garbrandt's trying to go full Garbrandt here, putting on all the pressure he can. But O'Malley getting the read, digs down to the body on top.
He's going to get rocked at the end of it, brother, and that's been what happened. Moolah, absolutely laser precision shots, maybe getting the finish right here.
How isn't he dead?
Oh, bro.
Cody's chin somehow becomes 95 instead of the 87 that it is, and O'Malley cannot get a finish here.
Oh, beautiful there.
Never say never, bro. Never say never.
Why is the only person to get that head kick hooked is me? Every single... Oh, nice work, Clarkey. Goes for the spinning kick. Is he going to go full Garbrandt, though? That's what you've got to be careful of. 10 seconds left in this round. He gets caught with a knee, takes it like a champ, and... What a fight we have.
Body. Head kick there, body stun, tries to go for it, but that is the end of round 2. These two fighters are putting on the pace each side, and this is an absolute ballistic fight for the featured prelim of tonight.
Look, if there was ever a primetime guarantee, it's always in these more visible spots, right? The featured spots. It lasts each and every fight, event after event there, Humble. But when you come to these kind of highly visible spots, like I said, the featured fight, the co-main, the main event, the fight that closes out the main card, they are always standout fights. You don't even need to mention them on the intros more often than not, because everybody's eyes are going to be drawn to those positions, and the anticipation already just from a lot of the rep that these guys have been able to build within the community goes a long way and leads to fights just like this.
That's exactly it. And a lot of times these guys get this position of having exciting fights. It's not always based on just your record. It's based on how exciting were you in your last couple of fights, and that's why you get to put in the featured spot. Oh, the elbow from
the elbow digs down on top. The lead hook as well. Another knee gets a drop there, and this is only 30 seconds into that third round. Oh my God, Cody's chin is definitely busted, but will O'Malley be able to find that one key shot here, Cyrus?
Yeah, he continues to go to the body, knowing that he's hurt his head. I mean, look, O'Malley is almost styling out there, but you know how dangerous Cody is, man. It literally only takes one. He needs to dial it all together, continue the frustration that he's pouring on. Shot by shot, chipping away. And now Clarkey may be out of this once and for all.
And he is. That was a fight and a half. Moolah put on a fantastic performance there. Clarkey came out when Garbrandt went nearly full Garbrandt and then fully went full Garbrandt, and Garbrandt sadly died there, and that's fantastic job there, Humble by O'Malley.
I like the switch up Moolah that he started using the correct combinations, the distance management, and he really capitalised on Garbrandt's chin health, and when he hurt him, he kept hurting him, Cyrus. He didn't let him off.
Yeah, exactly right. And keeping on that pressure, right, in an intelligent fashion. like I say, you don't want to like completely be disregarding your defense in order to turn it up on your opponent. Of course, you do need to take certain risks via opening up, and that's exactly what he did. I think it was a smart approach to it. He was calm, calculated, continued to choose his shots, much like O'Malley does in real life, right? He doesn't just kind of go out there looking to wing massive haymakers. He chooses every shot. He has high, MMA IQ and striking IQ on display there, and I think that's what Muller got, why Muller got his hand raised and closed out that featured fight in a very, very nice way. But to throw it back to you there for a moment, Humble, Reepsy up against Ripe next. I believe these two competitors over on the PlayStation side of things. We know them well within Primetime MMA at this stage, but break this one down for us, brother. What can we expect against this, or ahead of this first fight of this evening?
Well, Ripe's been at the top of the PlayStation rankings for a while right now, and he comes up short now and then against the really top guys, but every single time he has to build his record up. He's been doing a fantastic job in doing so, and Reepsy's very similar. So we have two guys who have that ping doesn't look good.
I don't know if
is everyone's internet just absolutely blown up today? What is going on?
This is a bit of an odd one, right? There was a couple of ones where you'd expect it, where the 200 mark for some of the Aussies is about normal, but when it's jumping around like this, we'll see, man. If they want to do it, they want to do it, right? And as long as it doesn't impact what's on display for us, obviously at home here, but we shall see, brother. It's a little bit suspect. I don't, in terms of why everybody's internet's up. Is Xbox having issues?
Like people who have,
this is PlayStation even.
People who have normal, maybe it's the servers, I don't know. People who have normally really good pings as well, and it's not that you can't match up 10 fights against each other where it's completely other sides of the world and that everyone's got bad in there. It just doesn't work like that. So someone's at play a day. I had 2,000 ping with somebody the other day, and I've got 500 meg. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but EA is known for this. Especially,
it seems to be US people as well. Interestingly, so.
Pay your cable, guys.
Well, we'll see if it has any impact on the fight. Hopefully, it stabilizes out. It did look steady for a good while before I switched across. Otherwise, we wouldn't have even switched across, to be honest with you, if I saw it jumping around all over the place. But here we are. Here is where we find ourselves. And I don't imagine this fight's going to take too long to get going. Isn't Max... there you go. Max is
this is the main card.
I was going to say it's main card. I was going to say it's enough. It's 5.5.
No, it's a fair pick. It seems like... Ripe wants to go as a beat, and that's fair enough. Ripe has got a couple fights on. I can't remember his last fight now.
If you're good at like stopping the sort of exerting the energy and not utilizing, the characters like that, Zabit, who is he was a fantastic fighter before he retired way too early, past it before his time to become a doctor. By the way, Cyrus, really interesting.
Yeah, one of the most dangerous doctors on the face of the earth. Coming after your crown there, Doctor Who, more often than not, he is...
I do use the beat in a league. I've used him last time around. Yeah. He's a fun fighter. He's got the well-named Zabit trip. He's got a lot of kicks. He is missing the lead teep, if I remember correctly, but he's got a fantastic boxing and all-round wrestling. If he can use them. So far, though, Holloway sticking to a bit of that boxing. He's getting his head kicked off somewhat, but he's doing a fantastic job of doing a lot of defense and catching kicks on both sides here.
Sorry to jump in, brother. I don't know if you saw. Reepsy said the first one to shoot is the bitch. And it looks like Zabit just slammed him on his head with a big slam. Decided that he doesn't care about those monikers. Getting his hand raised is all that matters. And already onto a good winner, taking Max Holloway out of his realm of comfortability, which is, of course, his striking.
Yeah, you could have said the first one that picks Mac Holloway is also a bitch. That's exactly what... Zabit is a tough fighter to play with, you know what I mean? And if you get him on the floor, that's where you're going to capitalise and utilise your sort of grappling advantage and your sort of attributes better than his. So it'll be interesting to see if you can keep him there, though. And Zabit's really good on the floor, but I always find... your stamina management with Zabit's really tough, and Max Holloway, it's easy. It's really easy to kind of control your Max's stamina because he does the basics really well.
Gets back to half guard for a moment there, Doc. Zabit sticking to him like glue. He's got a minute 30 left on the clock. What would you like to see out of Zabit now he's in this top control position with this much time left on the clock.
Go for the top mount. Look for not to be in full guard. Full guard's the easiest place where you can get the get-ups, get the reversal. So even if you hang around in half guard and you don't do much damage, that's still better than the full guard, especially due to the fact in full guard you don't get that control time, and that's a core aspect what you want when you're grappling. Lovely bit of ground and pound damage there. Don't make sure not to get too aggressive though, otherwise you can get flipped. Does go for a full guard there, maybe looking to get a reversal. Doesn't get it. Now's the time to move, as you can see. Does get the side control as well, so maybe expect a sprawl position, because that will get him on to get Zabit's back against the cage. You can see in that allows an easy get up if he goes for it, working that body a bit. Has got to be careful, but with 17 seconds left, that is fantastic getting that deny here, Humble, and now he's just probably going to cruise this out to the end of the round.
Nice work, Zabit. You know, kind of seeing out the last 2 minutes of that round, that's how you close off a close round. It's exactly what you've got to do to make a fight that is incredibly close kind of be favoured in your way, and you can see it right there. Similar amount of strikes, similar amount of significant strikes, but the grappling advantage has gone to Zabit. So in my books, that might be one for him. Might be, I said. You don't know how these judges
look, Wright got that round, bro. I don't know how. Like, if any, I'm calling it right here. He got that round, bro. It was a close round. Most significant strikes. He got a lot of top control, and I think that's why we're seeing Reepsy coming out here actively trying to hunt the striking in the second round. Sorry, but gotta remember, Zabit isn't a grappler through and through just on its own. He can do the full array of mixed martial arts, and he can strike with the best of them, brother. As you can see with some of these combinations they're exchanging on the inside, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're watching Max Holloway right now as well, Doctor, he's switched hands. So the reason for that is he's trying to get rid of that Ozagari trip essentially from Ripe, I believe. So maybe he likes to use that lead hand, and he's really trying to not let Magomedov get away with that lovely leg kick.
Well, it should also be noticed that the character fix of Max Holloway is an interesting one, especially when it's someone like Zabit. Because Zabit's biggest issue is the fact he's so long. He's very long, which means that when it comes to fighting in the pocket, he has massive issues. But with someone like Holloway, they're the same length, and so it just has fantastic times there. Say that Holloway getting the knockdown, showcasing that length is a matter. A small collapse there as well here, Humble, and both of them are going back at it again.
Nice work, yeah. Got caught kicking. How many times have we said this, Cyrus? Got caught kicking in the pocket. You know, got to be very, very careful what you're doing right there. And if someone's kind of overexerting the combination boxing, you can throw big spinny kicks to the body, things like that. But you can't throw round kicks. Round kicks is what you get you caught there.
Yeah, 100%. I have to say though, Ripe MMA a couple of times is getting caught mid animations. He needs to worry a little bit about those taunts, because he could get caught. He's having a bit of momentum shift in his way, but you've got to remember how dangerous Zabit is, especially when he's got those combinations flowing, Doc. I mean, obviously, he is a bit of the rangier fighter as well, I believe, especially if he starts utilizing some more of those kicks, you know, some teeps down the middle and the like.
Yeah, tips down the middle, using the body kicks just as Max Holloway escapes from range. But so far, Max Holloway using that jab effectively, just prodding and poking and just trying to figure out this range here, Humble.
More urgency from Reepsy this round to kind of really kind of win that one. You can see the switch stance coming now, trying to confuse his opponent, kind of come up with a bit of a different game plan from Ripe MMA. But I think even himself, he's kind of thinking, I might have lost this one. I don't want to kind of shoot and give up too much energy. Maybe just let my opponent kind of blow his load a bit and get some stamina off. But you can't be caught kicking in the pocket. That's what's getting him caught a lot at the moment, Si.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you're not giving your opponent anything to worry about, you just become a little bit of a human punching bag in the cage, and that's exactly why we're seeing Zabit now start to open up with a couple of shots, trying to get his opponent to back up a little bit. But Ripe MMA, Reepsy not giving a single fuck about what potentially could come back his way. Lands shot after shot, and he's hunting the finish in the final seconds of this round.
Jesus Christ. Every shot in that about the last minute and a half there was landed on either the block of Zabit or on his face, and Zabit just did not give a damn. He took every shot there, and I think that's a testament to one, Zabit's chin, and the power of Max Holloway here, Humble.
Yeah, he's trying to make his opponent gas out, you know, and try and really put it on in this round here. Yeah, I truly believe that he thought he'd lost that round and was just trying to kind of dodge some shots and stuff. But Max Holloway's recovery for his stamina is fantastic, and Magomed Sharipov and Ripe MMA needs to take this to the floor. He had success there, Cyrus. If he wants to win this fight, it might be 1-1, even though one round was so much kind of higher than the other one. That's exactly what he needs to do right there.
Yeah, look, these guys, kicking out this main card as well. It's an excellent opportunity for them, right? They've managed to earn their way to this position now. They really, really have to excel and put it all on the line, be entertaining, and that's what we're seeing, especially from the side of Max Holloway. A lot of swag out here, kind of flexing, taunting his opponent, trying to play some mind games, and more often than not, though, he seems to be getting the bigger damage off. That beautiful duck a second ago, and now has got his opponent pressed up against that cage, hurting.
Yeah, he's just more composed, and overall he's finding his shots better. He's using very simple strikes, very simplistic manners just to figure out the holes in Zabit's defense, and that's working fantastically for him, Humble.
Yeah, Reepsy's going forward at the moment. He's now starting to use London strikers, which is going to pop his opponent's chin back. He's not going to be able to block those shots as well, which is a good little strategy for stopping any sort of forward pressure. Nice work right there from Holloway to drop him down. He's got to be careful he doesn't get overconfident and get caught, essentially. But right, MMA is still in this fight. He needs to avoid the boxing pressure.
Maybe not, brother. Maybe not. He zigged when he should have zagged in the last couple of shots. I mean, how do they survive? Much respect. That massive head of his quite clearly had +1 HP and therefore was able to just about survive once again. Has 2 minutes left though, Doc, and this isn't a great position to be in, especially with somebody like Reepsy on top of you, getting you hurt, getting you dropped.
Yeah, this is not a position you want to be in, but it seems like Reepsy doesn't want to doesn't.
And this is probably worse though, right? This is probably worse.
Yeah, that's worse. That's worse. Ground and pound, struggling to stay alive. The hooks only just keeping him in. Does get back up on the feet though, and Holloway giving a little taunt in the appreciation. Both of these guys, a minute 20 left to get the KO. A cartwheel kick coming out the blue and an uppercut.
He does it with ease as well.
Zabit is dead.
He threw the uppercut just effortlessly.
Yeah.
Here you go. He's a sandwich. Like that's exactly. He give him that uppercut like I give my kid breakfast. That's exactly how he go. It was a beautiful performance, though. And credit to the guy for picking Zabit. It's not easy. Not easy going against Max Holloway, who's, from my opinion, he's the most OP character in this game. So it is tough fighting like that, and he did a good job and showed a lot of skills in there.
Yeah, honestly, another epic fight for the history books, kicking off the main card in absolute style. Talking about style, these two next competitors have a very, very interesting kind of all-round mixed martial arts style to bring to kind of fruition here this evening. There, Doc. Dirty Dave representing the BFAT Boys, one of the more experienced and grisly veterans on the game. Really, really likes to be a little bit different to the most. He doesn't get his training in his spars more often than not, although he does do that. As you've said many times in the past, he does a lot of drills in the back, on the bags against the AI and the like, making sure that those inputs are crispy clean. But he's going up against somebody who is chaotic and also as equally well versed in each part of the mixed martial arts game. That is going to be the one and only The Pug, now representing just himself, lone wolfing it. And I believe that's his first time since no longer being in TFA.
Sure that's his first time. He's former AJS, now TFA. The Pug's making his unofficial solo debut against Mr. Dirty Dave. Dave coming off a loss to Brady. And to just give us a quote from Dave, my teammates will kill me if I strike again. So maybe expect a bit of wrestling from Dave tonight is my bet. Pug, on the other hand, will know this pretty well, so I'm expecting to see a typical strikers versus grappling match happening tonight.
And this is where I believe it's going to be tough against flyweight, to be fair. But I see Pug fight against a lot of grapplers. Pug's very much like myself. He likes to throw flashy combinations and sometimes keeps it very basic and doing really well. But he's a really good counter wrestler at times. His main sort of problems come when he gets frustrated. Like myself, we all get frustrated at times, and that's when Dirty Dave thrives. So this, for me, it's a game of patience. It's a game of keeping you cool and kind of opposing your will instead of letting your opponent oppose theirs, Cyrus. And you've really got to keep you cool if you're the Pug in this one, and not kind of lose composure. Essentially.
Yeah, agreed, brother. Agreed. As our friend says, the one and only J Dime, confidence is key, right? Confidence is key. Going forward, implementing your game plan, not really worrying necessarily about what your opponent brings to the table. Of course, you've got to be having a certain level of respect for what they can do and the fact they can damage you, but confidence, my man, imposing your will upon your opponent, especially early there, Doc, can get even the best of opponents a little bit concerned, a little bit off track, and starting to kind of try to have to fight that uphill battle to get themselves back in front.
Yeah, well, so far, Pug is the guy being more aggressive. However, he's the one on the back foot. He's the one just fighting every time that Cejudo gets close here. He's just peppering his block with shots. Single leg takedown does get blocked, and that is what you want when you're Dave. Dave is hunting for that takedown, and you know it. But so far, all we've seen is one lovely takedown defense, and a takedown defense again of Dave's as well, when we saw him earlier on in the clinch position here.
It's really obvious sort of game plan from the Pug as well. He's really just trying to get ahead. You know, if he does get taken down, he wants Dave to land early, and he sort of ground and pound or damage. So his earlier part of the round counts more than his.
Honestly, I am loving what I'm seeing from the Pug in terms of the jab. I'm a little bit worried that sometimes he's getting a little bit overzealous, wasting a little bit too much stamina, and over the course of these 15 minutes, you know that Dirty Dave is going to be aware of that and looking to capitalize. But the straights in particular continue to land for Pug, especially behind that jab, and that could be giving Dirty Dave quite a lot of problems, especially being the shorter fighter out here, Doc.
Yeah, I think that's what's giving him a lot of the issues here. It's flyweight, and Cejudo is quite short even for flyweight here, and does go for a takedown, doesn't get it, and another leg kick there. Dave's also trying to work that leg kick at the same time, but I think what's going to really make or break this fight for someone like Pug will just be that gas tank. Can it hold up? Can it not? That head kick, though. That's a bit of a scary one here. Humble does get it. Power takedown, moving away from the cage. Now going to slam him on his back there, and a minute 40 left on the clock. He did do quite a bit of damage on the feet, but Dave's known for putting out massive amount of damage here, and that's maybe all he needs.
Oh, man. Oh, man. This is not good for the Pug. After a very, very good start to round one, he gets power doubled, put into the crucifix momentarily, and seems to be having all sorts of problems with Dirty Dave being as dirty as he can, getting those elbows square onto the dome of him.
Yeah, Pug going to survive. He hasn't put too much ground and pound. This is what I said about, Dirty Dave landed one big head kick, right, but didn't really rock him, do anything with it. Land one shot from the crucifix, and not really too much ground and pound yet with 36 seconds left. You're looking at the overall statistics and probably damage in the round so far, and Reno's probably done the most of that, and that's where Pug is going to be happy. But you can see Dirty Dave using his veteran savvy, trying to damage the body now, because when you take the body health, the grappling becomes easier, Cyrus. So good work from Dave.
Yeah, it really does. If he goes for another, I was going to say that I didn't realise the time goes for another stand-up, then obviously choke could have potentially been available, but an interesting first round, obviously largely going the way of the Pug, Doc, when it was on the feet, but then of course that takedown, the ground and pound, there were some big moments on the side of on the side of Dirty Dave as well, so I don't know which way that's going, and there's a lot of time left to see how this unfolds, but you've got to be feeling that both guys are going to be taking big moments from that as kind of confidence boosters going into the rest of this fight.
You've seen the game, so the first round established the game plan of both of them. We now know it, and you now know what the main route is. It's now going to be the case of, can Pug keep this on the feet long enough to win it on the feet, or can Dave get it to the ground long enough to do the damage to win the round? Because I don't see either of them getting a KO currently at the rate they're going. However, the pace of Pug definitely wants to dip.
Nice, you got
that leg, though, is massive.
He needs to be careful there, because Dave really wanted, but he got a beautiful check there, which give him a momentary health event, and that's give him some confidence. It's really his confidence is key with these two. Someone said Caliber said in the chat about Dave's confidence with going for a takedown, getting it. Gets denied on the same side. He went for a turning takedown earlier on, Cyrus. Maybe that's something of note that Dave's going to kind of pick up on. He's been denied twice on that side.
Dave, I'm probably most likely aiming for the double legs. Are a bit more consistent in terms of shots, I find, but that's Dave's call here so far. He's having a bit more success on the feet. He gets the stun, because that was the main thing that we have yet to be paying attention to. So who does power? He doesn't need to land very often, because I've just noticed that chin health is actually competitive, even though it seems like Dave hasn't been throwing nearly as much as Pug here.
Yeah, I mean, he is catching when he's been leading as well, but I mean, the accumulation, it's like you say, the power, there is a bit of a differential. I didn't realise that there was. Is it Cejudo the heaviest hitter in this division, or is it Figueiredo?
Figgy.
He's got like 95 and 96, like speed and power.
Yeah.
So he's got like really close stats to the top, but it's just not quite 98, 97, things like that. But it's really, really good. It's just his distance management. Obviously, he's got short KX hands. We talk about
And he has also got his feet trip.
Yeah, he does have the Osagari trick as well. So he hasn't used it once. I think that's probably going to be saved for later on. I do think Dave's got to be careful because he hasn't tried to grapple too much since the denial. You know, you've got to mix your grappling up, and the best sort of grappling techniques are the ones that you chain together, and hasn't really done that. He said his teammates will kill him if he strikes. So if he gets knocked out in this fight, has he done enough to grapple essentially?
Yeah. You know that they were screaming at him, Doc, right? Leading up to that, they were screaming at him, "Shoot the double! It's BFAP! Ankle pick him!" And that's when he got him down to the mat, back into his world. Not a lot of time to work in this one. You've got to imagine that's probably going to be his go-to in this third one early, but of course, it's easier said than done, especially when Pug's going to be aware of that. And especially, since Pug's having success on his feet.
Yeah, he's having a lot of success, but Dave's also having success. That chin, that body health, and now he's just working at the end of this. I'm going to imagine that's possibly 2-0 in favour of Dave. 1-1, I'm not particularly sure. I would have to look at fight stats to get to see him.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, that is Dave again. Dave potentially.
And Dave won the first round as well. Okay, so that is, although it looked like Pug put on the bigger pace in round 1, Dave did the more damage, and so Pug is now down 2 rounds. Most likely he's going to have to really dig deep in this third and final round here, Humble, to come back here tonight.
You never lose 2 rounds, you just have to win the third. Always the judges are stupid on this game. They always judge the third more if it's a close round. So whoever wins this round emphatically, I believe, might win the fight essentially. And so who knows, head health's not great. So it's got a chance. If Puck can start off the way he's been starting the rounds, he looked good for 2 minutes of every round that he's been in so far. So if he can actually rock Dave, get him hurt, things like that, he might be able to do something. But Dave says no.
Well, they are not trying to leave the judges in this one any which way. Both guys landing big shots. Dave trying to ankle pick their Doc, but not successful on this one.
These hooks starting to come out, the jabs. It's the amount of shots Pug throws in that very quick succession. He just blitzes him. It's not much damage, but it's just impressive. Tries to go for a pre-denial on the takedown. Instead, though, gets body lock trip. Now we get to see Dave. 3 minutes on the ground. This is not a position you want to be in. Dave is a tricky fucker, and he will look for any way, any place to kill. Does go for side control here, and probably going to aim for crucifix if we can get it here tonight. Instead, though, goes to top mount, looking for the back mount. Does get it now, straight into back flat. Does get denied. Goes to the arm sweep and gets back into half guard here, Humble.
It looks like Dave's going to try and ride the round out. It's what he's good at. He kind of slows fights down a lot of the time. Lets his opponent kind of move a bit on the ground and capitalizes on their movement as they're moving. That's when he kind of transitions, just like in a real jiu-jitsu in the wrestling match. He transitions mainly when you're trying to move, and does his damage in between those gaps.
Jesus!
Oh
Jesus! This is bad for Marino. 2 minutes left on the clock. Dirty Dave knows his shit. Throwing the ground and pound. This one could be very, very close, Doc.
Stand, the blue is slightly creeping up. The red is just getting to halfway point, and the blue is over 2/3. It's looking like he's going to get it, and he does so.
It's absolutely solid to get out that submission because it is when you get back flatted, it's tough. And what a win! What a win for Dave. I thought that was a very competitive fight and some adversity for Dave as well. He didn't have everything his own way there, Cyrus.
Yeah, exactly right. It's not just about going in there and having absolutely kind of perfect sort of performances. Of course, being tested is often where we get to see see these fighters really dig deep in what they're capable of. Pug had a lot of successes in this fight. Dirty Dave had to adjust, and I think it brought out the best of him. Gets the finish here this evening. Dave is normally a guy that if he feels like he's ahead, may kind of just play that fight out to try to go the finish, but try to go the distance. But this evening he knew that he might have needed that finish there, Doc and Humble.
Definitely. Like we could probably see the scorecard as well just to see if we were correct. Like I say, usually it's the third round that kind of wins that one, but Dirty Dave wins it outright anyway, so it doesn't matter. As we go to our last 5 fights of this evening, it looks like. Oh, by the way, Dirty Dave had a bad. He was a number 1 contender. Let's not forget. Took a short notice fight against. Was it against who was it against?
He fought Brady.
Yeah, who
lost the round and he lost, and that's why he was, and that's why his teammates were angry at him. So because he didn't wrestle as much, and so
and he was on like 4-fight win streak, 5-fight win streak.
Yeah, no, he would have probably been in the next contender if he didn't lose. He would have been fighting Optics instead of Jakey. But hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That was the fight David willingly took on his own behalf. And this is where he ended up. Dave's going to make another run at the title, which is entirely possible. But with that, let's look further ahead on the card. Next up, we'll have Sean Corkery versus LW Gemini. Sean Corkery, previously known as Spartan War. Also, he joined the B3 camp here, Humble.
B3 camp, interesting. B3 have been crazy in the chat tonight. They seem to be trying to take over Primetime at the moment. You've got the likes of Blackout hours later on there this evening, and obviously the champion, I believe, was from B3, who retired last week as well. Leon Stolz, yeah. So B3 have a lot of great competitive members who the main word, Cyrus, out of anything is active members in their camp who are keeping each other busy and supporting each other when they can. And when I see camps that are usually top, it's because a lot of the members are active. They've got a lot of sparring partners, a lot of people kind of being there in the community, and that's really important.
Yeah, and honestly, it's about the energy and focus that these guys kind of bring to the table. Right? A lot of them have really, really excellent kind of leaders or sets of leaders, or all around kind of campmates where they really do come together. Like we saw, obviously, Bang Bang, one of the originators of the B3 camp, takes a lot of pride in his ability to put on entertaining performances in Primetime MMA over the years on the likes of ESFL and many of the other communities within the promotion. And that has accrued an absolutely sensational level of competition top to bottom now. And we're seeing that play out, especially on the PlayStation side of the equation there, Humble. I mean, like I said, those B3 boys are nothing to be taken lightly, especially Blackout. I mean, coming out there, I think out of his 5 fights, unless I'm missing one, 4 of them were finishes in the first round. Potentially one of them may be a record, still getting that verified, but I think he got a finish in like 32 seconds or something crazy like that. So, I mean, I expect
this season.
Say again?
Definitely the fastest knockout this season.
Oh, yeah, definitely for this season. But we're saying all of this like he's not stepping across from the octagon from the former champion that gave it up by choice in trials. Now rejuvenated, he went to the mountains. He's coming back looking healthy and focused here, Humble, and believes that he has all of the tools still, if not even more, kind of tightly honed to take back that primetime gold and now start a new era under his watch.
If I'm correct as well, War is no longer a camp, or they don't have as many members. A lot of those guys kind of left and kind of sort of developed and made themselves, or went into a different camp or a new camp. So that's why we've seen an abundance of new camps kind of coming along. It's what happens when camps kind of dispersed. And if I don't know what CK is, because I've kind of new to this, but Lukey and Trials, he's a fantastic player, and like you said, he gave that up by choice. And he's got to prove, though, because Blackout is no joke. It's a great fight. This could be like a fight that was still around if Trials was still holding on. I bet Blackout could have been the number 1 contender with knockout streak run. Reminds me of Shane Carwin versus Brock Lesnar almost.
Yeah, honestly, look, these guys, especially when you have top-level opponents, right? That's the beautiful thing about Primetime MMA. We allow every single person to compete. Not every single fight is aired, but it allows every single person within this community to earn their way up to that primetime gold. And that sort of gauntlet that you have to go through, Doc, it is trial by fire, to say the least. The cream does really rise to the top, and we see that kind of the men being separated from the boys more often than not when it comes to these shows, because the pressure is on. They've worked their way through the unaired circuits that we have within Primetime MMA, now find themselves on the live cards with people cheering them on or rooting against them, and that gives them the opportunities to propel themselves into featured fights and title fights going forward.
Yeah, sorry. You can't get to the top of any of these rankings without having at least 1-2 losses. Trixie this season, for God's sake, has 4. I am not mistaken, 5 now, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he has 5 losses. Fadnate has 2. Dave has 3. Leon Stolz, the champion that's just vacated, has 2 losses. And those have all been champions in this league. Like, none of them are, like, you can't go anywhere in this league without getting those losses, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure, bro. But with all of this being said, my man, I know that myself, Mr. Humble Dink especially, and of course Doc, we're all eager, like many of you at home, to get into the next one. We'd have 2 straight savages up next. Beautiful destruction is promised to be displayed. It is going to be the one and only Sean Cokery up against LW Gemini. The time is now here, Humble. These guys are fighting in the welterweight division. Conor McGregor up against Leon Edwards. All of the ingredients that we require to put together a beautiful, beautiful fight, brother.
So when you see someone's name, you think, oh, that's who it is. Fought that guy in ranked recently. Like, yeah, these two are great fighters. They're both top level fighters. You see them a lot. In the, like I always talk about these guys in the top 100 and different stuff, but you see them being active. You see them fighting each other a lot. And the betting line is now. We haven't talked about the betting line tonight, but these last 5 fights, keep an eye on the betting line because you have 2 minutes to make those bets. Bet your channel points on who you think is going to win, and you can pick who you kind of want to back, and you can win some big money, Cyrus. As you know, there's been people who've bet 100 little pennies, and they've come out with 99% of the voting stipulation. So it happens all the time.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. It's all about those betting lines, identifying a good venture when you can, brother. But the time is now, brother. Whichever way you decided to bet, we are about to find out who's got the tools, who has got the talent to get their hands raised here this evening. Looks like these guys are happy and content to trade it out in the center of this octagon very, very quickly.
Seems so. Sean Cokery as McGregor, Gemini as Edwards, and Cokery's wasting no time in digging down to that body, using the power of McGregor, getting a knockdown straight out the back. If you're Edwards, you're going to be a bit flat-footed. You can engage, but you don't want to be taking every shot on your chin there by McGregor here, Humble.
He can. He's still got really good power in every division. His body type's the key. His body type, he flows into shots. He's got certain animations as well. You know, the lead hook straight is one of the fastest animations in the game. So you've got to be careful of kind of walking that. If you're Edwards,
brother, that might have been it right there. That was so close. I mean, if he had a little bit more stamina, the bleed through could have knocked him down.
Yeah, he could have. And if I was about to say, if you're Edwards, you've got to. Edwards got 5-star. He's got 5-star elbows in the clinch. You know, he's got really good wrestling. He's got really good kicks. He's got really good jab and straight, and he keeps people at length. But you've got to utilise that. If someone's doing really well and pressing you on the feet, you've got to mix it up. You can't just stay in front of them and take shots.
Oh, Jesus!
Well, when you're part of the B3 camp, that is what they know how to do. They know how to stick you in front of their punches, always non-stop and consistently, and that is what Sean's doing here. He's having a hell of a time just landing every shot he can, and Gemini's just can't figure out where he needs to move back to. Does finally land a near touch, but that's kind of the only shot he's really landed so far, it seems like.
I've got this fight is razor thin, big damage being landed on either side of this octagon. You can see the slight better of it. Conor McGregor seems to be the one in front, but ever dangerous just with those pulls like that there, Humble. You know that Leon Edwards, as you said, is one of the more technical fighters in the division, and when he lets go, he is dangerous.
Yeah, you've got to use them elbows, you've got to use them pullback shots, starting to mix it up really well at the moment. He's going to be utilising the jab to kind of set up his combinations, but Gemini really trying to catch him with one big shot and trying to even the odds. You know, you can more of a, if you rock your opponent, hurt them, do more damage, but here we go.
Looking to get the ground and pound on. The amount of damage Edwards' chin's already taken. A bit of ground pound, just going to add more to it. So far, though, fantastic job at surviving, although he's been knocked down 3 or 4 times here. Come to the end of the first round, here, Humble. You've got to manage. If you're Edwards, you'll just hope and get to the end of this round and then reset coming into the next round.
Definitely B3 in the chat right now. Team B3 in the chat said we don't take losses, we learn lessons and adapt. Sean Cokery,
we move, and that is what Cokery's doing. He's downloading every little head movement of Leon Edwards here, and he's just moving with it, countering, finding the openings, and that was a hell of a first round from McGregor.
Yeah, I mean, looking crispy out here tonight there, Humble. Just absolutely dialed in. Looks like all of those rounds in the back have been going a long way, man. Iron sharpens iron. We continue to say it. These guys are definitely on top at the moment. It have been for a little while on the PlayStation side of things, and Sean looking to add to that repertoire, getting another feather in his camp, or potentially so here this evening. Has to be careful of the danger that LW Gemini brings to the table, though.
Yeah, last couple of months, B3 have been really pressing as well. Like, they've gotten a lot better. You can see there's a lot of guys in there, a lot of potential, very much. And that's a credit to their team and the people running it. But, you know, really do good job from Sean to stay disciplined at the moment. He's really trying to press the action against his opponent. He's also not putting himself in danger. He's not putting himself in a position where he's going to really get hurt as well, Doctor.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job. He's played the offense and defensive game fantastically. Normally when you see someone get so aggressive on the offense, they struggle to get really good defense as well. But this time around, McGregor's offense and his defense, and half the time I think his offense is his defense here, and it just is working fantastically across the board here, Looney.
Yeah, obviously he's bringing the full mixed martial arts game together. His defense and offense, as you said, brother, absolutely picture perfect. Looking silky smooth here this evening. Sean maybe getting his hand raised right here, right now. And he does. The precision, the aggression, the all-round destruction that Sean was able to bring to the octagon here this evening was truly beautiful. I mean, take a fucking bow, brother. Take a bow.
Yeah.
I don't want to add insult to injury, but I am curious to know how many significant strikes Gemini did land that fight.
Yeah, just to move on from that point, it was the best performance I've seen tonight. Sean did a great job of saying, you know, to the division, I'm here, I'm ready for big, stiff competition. And, you know, he's ready to take on the top elite guys in the division.
Just to cut you off with the record, he's 8-4. He's got a solid record, ranked number 2 in the division. So for Gemini, that was a fight and a half for him to take, and just establishes more and more why he is ranked number 2 here, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was saying, he's ready to take on big competition. He's right at the top echelon of that card. A lot of B3 guys up there, you know, so you might have some B3 guys fighting it out, but, you know, CK Lukey's going to have something to say about that. But before we go into that, I still can't believe these guys are fighting 3rd and 4th on the card. It almost feels like a Max Holloway and you know, like a Conor McGregor fighting 3rd and 4th on the card. We have Fadinator and Trixie both coming up next, and they're fighting tough, stiff competition. It's going to be SNB Brady versus Fadinator. Brady got a fantastic win last week over Dirty Dave. After losing to Trixie, you know, he needed that. He really needed to come back strong. But he's got a tough fight right now. It's no easy fights at the top. A Fadinator is no easy to fight. You know he wants that belt back. You know he wants to be dominant again. And it is going to be a fantastic fight to lead us off it going into these co-main events, these two.
Yeah, honestly, it is... I mean, not often, brother, not often that you will see the name FSK Fadinator, the name S&B Brady, S&B Mix-Ups, or even one of the widely regarded GOATs of primetime MMA, easily one of our early Hall of Famers in BFAP Trixie. These guys are fucking main event fighters, or absolute minimum co-main event, but due to, you know, current scheduling and the like, FSK Optics now being the champion fighting BFAP Trixie, they're a little bit down. We've got 2 title fights on the line, and that just speaks, you know, absolute volumes to the depth within these divisions, the place that we now find ourselves in. Only 1 card this weekend, but my god, is it a banger, dog. Yeah,
the amount of 3-round fights Trixie has been in is probably counted on one hand. Same with Fadinator though. Both of those guys are notorious for their abilities to just be aggressive, to always maintain being in those high ranked positions. As you said, those 2 title fights have taken them out into that main card, and Brady, Fadinator, Trixie, Mix-Ups are all main event fighters just on the main card, and that really shows you how stacked both of these divisions are. Just a quick go over the record, you got Brady, who's 8-4, ranked number 6. Fadinator's 11-12, he's 2 losses to Trixie. Mix-Ups is ranked 4, 8-3, and so this is like the round robin of the Xbox division. Whoever wins these fights will probably go on to a title challenger, possibly even the title fight itself. These 4 fights, these 2 fights are fights you want to look at to see how the next stage of the Xbox division develops here, Looney.
Yeah, for certain, brother, for certain. And I think that on that note, we'll get into the next one. We have, you know, kind of lamented over it, talked about how these 4 fights are in and of themselves, all potentially, kind of main card featured fight, fights. But the action is here. The action is now, Humble. S&B Brady coming fresh off that absolutely amazing win. Let's be honest, man. Absolutely amazing win of BFAP Dirty Dave, who we saw came out and have a sensational performance earlier on this evening. For him to come and do that, propel himself up those rankings, put himself in a very, very nice spot. Now finding himself challenging against potentially one of the other pound for pound goats of this entire community in FSK Fadnator. This is an opportunity like no other, and he's going to have to grab this with both hands here this evening.
Yeah, definitely. And as the bets come down and everyone can start to predict from now on, we can dive into this fight and dive into the sort of the history of these guys. Fadinator, a dominant champion at one point, had an issue with Trixie, couldn't beat him for a long period of time, managed to beat him. I believe it was the start of this season for the first time, held the belt for a long period of time, and then eventually lost it back again to Trixie. So he's climbing to the top of the mountain again, in his humble opinion. But, in these ways, Brady, he wants to learn. He wants to get better. He lost a fight against. He lost a fight against the previous former champion who's fighting next to Trixie, and there's a different champ out there at the moment. So if he gets a shot and he wins this fight, he potentially might be getting a title shot for him.
Well, lots and lots of implications ahead of these next 4 fights. Starting out, Fadinator is fighting Brady like he has zero respect for what is coming back his way. Doc, I mean, unloading combinations, but has to be careful of those knees in return from Anderson Silva. They will punish you heavily.
I mean, Brady's doing a fantastic job. For when I look at the betting line, 1.4k on Brady, 104k on Fadinator. Those are some confident bets, and Brady's so far done the most damage, you would argue, and shot a takedown. Looking like Brady's starting out as a stronger fighter, especially when compared to his betting line of 1% to 99 in the favour of Fadinator here, Humble.
2%. 2%.
Oh, 2%.
Some people are capitalising, thinking, especially you see he's not afraid to grapple as well. Brady might be thinking, I have some advantages in the grappling department, and might be able to land some damage off in here. And Fadinator currently is getting controlled. The 3-round fight as well. Remember this: 3-round fights are completely different from 5-round fights. As I said, they get switched.
Of course. Yeah, no, definitely completely different. But Fadinator, been here, done that, and so has Brady. They're going to test each other in every single department this mixed martial arts game will allow us to go to. Now in top mount, almost getting the posture up. This is
both
terrible.
Of them are just denying each other. Now Fadinator in top mount, straights, hooks, straights again, another set of hooks. Brady's blocking is only just. It's going up to pass, and they'll go back into the half guard. Finally, didn't get denied. Now Fadinator is probably going to look for another top mount, does so. And this is where you've got to be careful, because as soon as your stand gets low to this level and you go transition to half guard, it means your opponent can get an easy posture up and then go straight into top mount again.
It's a really important part of the fight for Brady as well, because he seemed to be doing okay for a second. And then Fadinator took him down and really ran some damage to say. And that's really important, because usually after that, you don't take someone down again, especially if Anderson Silva, that's kind of the point proven right there. So it'd be interesting to see if these two go out the feet, and if Fadinator is going to try and leisure them hands on Anderson Silva's face, which he's doing right now.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, what Lola did, what Fadinator did. Oh, never mind. The combinations from Brady, sensational as always, looking for his opportunities. Woke up the inner dog of Fadinator, who is now pressing forward, Doc, trying to absolutely unload.
Nice.
Jesus, Webb going out for a stunt each way, trying his damnedest, is going low on that block help. Does land to keep there. 7 seconds left, both engaging still. But with that is the end to round 1. Fadinator looked like the better fighter overall. You got to admit, 5 significant strikes landed compared to the 13. So that's definitely Lawler's round in the judges' favour here, Humble. But Silva still looked like he had some moments in that first round here.
If you're Fadinator right now, you had some success on the ground. You were really dominant on top. So maybe.
Perfect. This is death, brother.
Oh no!
Well, never mind. The upkick of doom once again saved many a soul, but maybe not for long enough here this evening. Robbie Lawler is absolutely devastating. The power in those hands, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. The ruthless one.
Damnedest.
The Ruthless one is starting to land damage, and Brady is starting to scramble. He gets the reversal right there, but the head help is not looking good for Anderson Silva, and Robbie Lawler is starting to kind of run away with it. Fadinator definitely up already in this minute, and he's looking for blood. Shark in water at the moment.
Oh no, that's gotta be it for him. He could have followed up for the finish, decided to go for the taunt because he knows he has Brady hurt, Doc.
And that is what you want. It's your Fadinator here, now looking to get the finish in top mount, hoping the damages does get out of it. Fantastic job by the defense of Brady. 3 minutes left on the clock in this third round, and so far it's looking like Lawler needs that one key shot, and that's it. He's timing him on the power shots, he's timing him on the pulls, and he's just waiting for a single opening here, Cyrus.
Oh my God, brother. Once again, he sets him down. This one may be the last one.
That is it.
Robbie Lawler gets his hand raised. FSK Fadinator took his break there, Humble. He said he was taking a break until his mate, his friend, FSK Optics became champion. That is exactly what he was able to do. He is now back in a big way, getting his hand raised here this evening up against the rising prospect in Brady.
He's like the Khabib, isn't he, of the Xbox world. He goes and win, helps other guys kind of succeed as well. And when you help your teammates succeed, when you help your other team succeed, you succeed. So it's a great idea from Fadinator to kind of go out and be one of those guys who's helping his campmates kind of do what they want to do. And he's going to put himself back in the title picture now, though. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on in this title picture, because he potentially could be fighting for a title in the future. We've got Trixie as well fighting tonight, and he's fighting next. But I love the fact that Fadinator's come back stronger than ever.
That he has, my man. That he has. Doctor, my man, BFAP Trixie, S&B Mix-Ups. I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that these guys, this is the trilogy. I believe Mix-Ups has won one, Trixie has won one, and now they're coming back. No longer for title fights, but nevertheless, a lot of implications for that championship ahead.
An interesting note is the first time they met up, it was a 3-round fight in a welterweight division. Trixie went Kobe Covington, Mix-Ups went Usman. Hit the Usman pick, managed to outpower them. The next time they met up, it was lightweight, I believe, I want to say. And it was a Poirier versus, I think it was a Poirier, I don't know. Anyhow, they met up that second time round. Trixie got the win in the title fight, if I'm not mistaken. This time round, it's 3 rounds again, but Trixie is a much more developed, because I believe at the time he was also on a skid. So it's all still to play for. Mix-Ups is definitely an opponent you want to be wary of. He's part of the S&B camp, and hopefully S&B is looking to go 1-1 this time around. Mix-Ups, though, well-developed striker, well-developed wrestler. Trixie, part of the BFAP camp. There's nothing else you really need to say on that part here, Humble. These two are looking to put on a fight of a year contender, I'm going to assume.
Yeah, that they most truly are, Mr. Humbledink. I know that you're excited anytime that Mix-Ups or BFAP Trixie set foot in this cage. So without further ado, brother, we move straight on to the next one. Featured fight of the main card, just before we get into the co-main and main event.
I love it, the fact that they've got wins over each other as well. That's fantastic. Obviously, going to Trixie in one end, but Cejudo versus TJ Dillashaw, the movement. We've seen it earlier on with the power of Cejudo with Dirty Dave. He's got really good grappling as well. I know Trixie's been working with his campmates and the likes of Dirty Dave and other guys to grapple. So it'll be interesting to see if he does that. But Mix-Ups going to have that. He's going to have the elusiveness, the movement, the in and out sort of footwork. If he uses it correctly, he could make that a problem. Henry Cejudo, Doc.
Yeah, these two are going to be a fun time. We've seen Cejudo before. We've seen it with the other BFAP member tonight of Dirty Dave. We saw the power and the way that worked, just slowly beating Moreno's head in. And this time around, we may get to see Cejudo beating Dillashaw's head in. Dillashaw also has the issue of he's got fantastic footwork as well as overall striking. And grappling just to make a competition here. So both of these guys are going to be looking to put on one hell of a fight tonight here, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys want to join Primetime, we'll always put the link in the chat if you want to do that and join us. And also, we're looking for staff members as well, as he gets to the Sakari trip right there. We're looking for staff members if you want to be part of our staff. We do need competent people to help us run these leagues. It's not easy. You see Doctor doing commentary, also doing the predictions, Cyrus doing the production, doing other stuff, and me just doing commentary because I'm incredibly lazy. So, there's a lot going on at the moment. But you know what I mean, how it is. We all do different stuff in here, and we do need extra help. But here we go, Trixie on top, really damaging that body of Mix-Ups so far, but gets reversed. reverse right there. Could Mix-Ups do something with this Cyrus?
Yeah, honestly, this is a great spot. A great spot for Mix-Ups to be early on. Obviously, he is going to be well aware of the all-round threat that somebody like Swift Trixie possesses. And with that being said, he gets the transition very, very smoothly, I might say. And this is not a great spot for Mix-Ups to be, Doc. There's a lot of danger potentially ahead.
Yeah, he got the reversal, didn't do much damage, and now Trixie's in another position to do the reversal. He also got the takedown quite early on, which put him on the feet. He didn't have much chance of doing damage, so any chance that he will get on there will be when he gets up again. But so far, Trixie's doing a lot of damage, a lot of pit power shots, making sure to also hold the control time, which only adds in his favour. I'm looking at GA bar as well, and it's looking like Mix-Ups is pre-denying.
Yeah,
I want to say.
Yeah, he looks like he's trying to stop Trixie from kind of moving in his pre-down quite a bit. But he's still hot and heavy on those sorts of denies. Trixie gets that one there. He's going to get a pass in a second. If he takes it, he gets it. And a good question in the chat from James Moose was, what do the actual judging criteria look for this one? It's similar to the actual one in real life. Damage first, essentially, over everything. But we have actually, I've done some studies myself on this one, and usually the third round as well weighs up more than others, but it's usually mainly damage as well, Cyrus, isn't it? And how you can kind of damage people in a round.
Yeah, exactly right. Damage is one of the biggest determining factors of every single round inside of this cage, and understandably so, right? This is a fight, of course, it's a competition, but mainly it's a fight out here, Doc, and that's what these guys are trying to do. Trying to hurt each other in any which way possible. Tap or snap. Yeah. Knockout if they can.
Well, it's interesting though, especially when you look at round stats overall, sometimes significant strikes don't tell you the full picture because of the way some fighters are, especially. Cejudo hits a lot harder overall, so overall compared to Dillashaw, if Cejudo only lands a couple shots to Dillashaw, sometimes it isn't true to par just because the power stat advantage. So it is based around the damage, not just significant strikes here, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. And Trixie's done a good job of grappling so far in this round. Nothing really of damage as we've been talking about it, kind of coming from the evil guy. More so, and look, you can see with 2 shots and 4 shots, you're not going to get a lot of damage. It's a very, very close fight. A very close fight. Even though Trixie's had advantage in the end of that round, it's how do you judge that one?
Well, looking at the statistics,
it's going to come down to the third again, Humble. Yeah. It's going to be your lovely third round.
Oh yeah, that's what happens. That's exactly what happens.
Well,
I kind of like it though. I kind of like it.
Well, it all builds, right? And I mean, look, especially when as the competition's level rise, you can't just expect to go out there and blow your opponents out of the water. You've got to make adjustments. You've got to make reads and allow for opportunities and mistakes to be made. Right now, these guys starting out this second round very, very actively. Both guys seem fairly committed to chopping at that leg, and I think it's an intelligent game plan for completely opposite reasons. So Ben stops the takedown and takes away some of the damage.
Gets to the sprawl position, but doesn't kind of use it, and that's a massive kind of tell usually for the grappler. But Trixie gets away from the judo throw right there, gets back to his feet, and Mix-Up's really mixing it up. I guess he's trying to give him a lot of looks right now, but Cejudo pressing the action, looking for clinches, looking for wrestling advantage, and also looking for big strikes at the moment, while Mix-Up's trying to be elusive.
Lovely work. Mix-Up's doing a great job of catching the former champion on the way in, making him miss air at the moment, which is uncharacteristic, and most importantly stopping those takedowns. But the second one, due to the low stamina, meant that one was relatively easy to get, and now Trixie finds himself in half guard with a lot of time to work off. This is a not a great spot.
I mean, it's always a long time to work, but we've seen Trixie have a lot of time to work in the previous round, although not necessarily in the top man, although did a fantastic job getting out of it very quickly. A lot of the small punches, I feel like a couple postures that just do a bit of damage with single strikes will benefit Trixie massively. Does get a deny there. You can kind of get a read on just the way the pre-denies are going. You can just get a read on them because the way the GA bar is slowly just peaking up and up, and so I think Trixie's paying attention to that. It's going to benefit him, but now you just see him rip to that body, doing a lot of damage, which again scores, which doesn't count as significant strikes, but scores on the judges' scorecards here.
Yeah, it's not a typical Trixie fight as well. We've seen him grapple a few different times, but usually a Trixie fight is a back and forth absolute war, which he usually comes out at the end of, if that's what we're going to kind of nail it down to. That's why he's one of the most exciting fighters in the sort of company. He's kind of going for the Israel Adesanya approach here and kind of outscoring his opponent, trying to do some damage here and there. But he recognises the danger in mix-ups. Cyrus is really trying to take his time and not make mistakes in this fight.
You've got to understand, he's coming off a loss, right? He's coming off a loss, and he is not used to losing. He's been in a position before where he's had to bounce back, and he knows that it's about going back to the fundamental, not taking your opponent lightly. And obviously, he's taking mix-ups incredibly seriously here this evening. He's not willing to give him any which way into this fight that he can. These little baby shots that you think of, right, just kind of, they all add up, man. They do actually do damage, both to the body and the head health, and then, of course, allows him to get easy transitions or postured up ground and pound, as soon as he's built that GA high enough there, Doctor.
It's interesting to see, because one of the biggest issues about Trixie, which I've just realised, is whenever he loses, he ends up on these skids. Like, he goes through a couple of fights where he just...
These rounds have been close. Like, how do we judge it? When one guy's landed 2 significant strikes and the other guy's landed 4, and then you switch it and it's 7 and 4. Like, how do you judge that round? Like, I'll say something right now. Both guys need to show that they want this fight, because at the moment, I know they're both trying really hard, and I know how much for competitive, but neither of them.
What?
Right there might be a statement that I was talking about.
What?
Actually, hits God mode, decides to walk forward, absolutely unload on his opponent, and easily secures another takedown. He could be running away with this fight in the 3rd round, as you were trying to call for there, Humble.
Yeah, you have to, because you feel like you're winning, but how many times have we been robbed by the scorecards? Or even if it's a close fight, it's not a robbery. It's not a robbery, because either way, the judges could see it one way, one judge could see it another way. It's tough to score a round with this criteria and this judging system. Use a boxing system, essentially. You've got to show the judges that you want it, show the judges that you won the round, and that's exactly what Trixie started to do in this round. But Mix-Ups has got to get it back if he wants to win.
Oh, lovely head tip.
Like, he gassed out after that takedown defense. That made me interesting. I kind of now want to see Mix-Up stamina showing the HUD City. Always annoying. But for him, it's on the clock so far. Mix-Up looks a lot more hurt than I realised. He has his legs stunned. He's had a couple other issues, and it seems like the amount of damage Trixie's landed actually is a lot more than any of us have really standard here, and it's kind of interesting to see, especially now we're getting this final round where it's a bit more aggressive on the feet, looking for the counters around. They go for the pull elbow. Number takedown does get a shot there, doesn't land though. Alexander with a straight, and number one does get defended here though, Looney.
Honestly, when you're saying about damage, I don't even think it's damage, man. I honestly just think it's like he's done those little bunny shots, right, Humble, to the body on the ground over the course of the first 2 rounds. Not a lot of significant strikes, but many accumulative ones, and that's potentially put Mix-Ups into some dire positions, especially when he's tried to be active on the feet.
It's your timing as well. The timing of the takedowns he's going for is after a combination, so the guys are obviously already genuinely tired, and then he has to defend the combination. He's doubly tired. And then he ironically mixed it up and went from a double takedown, which he landed earlier on, to a head kick, which was beautiful work. Beautiful work. Absolute beautiful work from Trixie.
And he gets the finish.
Nice work. That was a beautiful performance.
Legit.
Great 3rd round though. That's what we know from Trixie. That 3rd round is more so down the line. He eliminated risk essentially in that first 2 rounds. I don't know how the judges were scoring them 2. I do actually give him them 2 rounds, but like them cards are so difficult. And if he went to a decision and lost, Trixie would have been upset with himself, Cyrus.
Yeah, I think so, but I do think this is maybe part of his game plan, right? We were mentioning going into this one, of course, that this was the trilogy fight between the 2 of them. Yeah, Trixie was ahead. But what the first fight, of course, Mix-Ups won when Trixie was on the skid. Then the second fight, Trixie bounced back, was able to get a victory in a hard 4th one at that. This evening, it looks like each and every time these guys match up, Trixie continues to level up, and he was able to get his hand raised in a very, almost flawless performance against a very dangerous top-level opponent in Mix-Ups. But it does set us up, my guys, for the co-main and main event of Primetime 63. It is going to be Xbox Division putting their belts on the line in the main event. FSK Optics, the newly crowned champion, trying to defend against the BFAP's very own Jakey, trying to get not only the Primetime strap wrapped around his waist, but of course, victory for himself and redemption for himself and his teammate after Trixie was, kind of beaten on the last one, dethroned in the last outing. But of course, the next storyline up, if you will, there, Humble, is the PlayStation side of the equation. B3's very own Leon stepping down last week, able to go out on top. Now the B3's faithful Blackout Hours, the standout rising star, all finishes on his way to this position, going up against the former champion who actually stepped away of his own accord in Lukey. Yeah. This is a momentous fight ahead of us, both in this main and co-main event.
Yeah, definitely, and a bit of new information as well. CK is actually Cobra Kai, which is an old camp back in the day from UFC 3 that a lot of these guys used to make it, and I've heard a lot of stories about that one, so it's exciting to see that one back in. Thanks, Pug, for that information. You see a lot more team-based stuff happening at the moment. We talked about it last week from the ESFL coming through, and it's kind of reinvigorated the community, especially with the camps around, and people seem to be taking this stuff a lot more seriously than they were. But did he... Stoltz was a champion who kind of vacated the belt because his schedule didn't really meet up to whether he could fight anymore. Lukey vacated the belt because he wanted to. Trials Ward vacated the belt because he felt he had no more competition. He went, I'll come back in a bit. So hopefully he's taken on Leon Stoltz as teammate and Blackout. 5 wins, 5 finishes, 4 in the first round and 1 in the second. Blackout is going to be trying to put B3 on the map as always and keep that championship within B3, whereas Lukey, his newly formed team of Cobra Kai, he'll be wanting to make a statement and tell everybody, listen, we've got champions here too, come and join Cobra Kai as we move forward in the venture with these teams.
Well, guys, Doc, sorry to interrupt, brother. I'm just excited. It is the PlayStation division.
Both of these men are undefeated, which is just fun.
Look, you don't see it too often, especially, like I said, when you find yourselves in this main or co-main spot to get to this position undefeated, especially with as many finishes as these guys have on their resumes.
They're all finishes.
Yeah, I know, all finishes, bro, all finishes. One guy is going to sleep here this evening, or so the kind of odd makers in the back would have us believing. Honestly, I'm on that hype train, Humble. They're going to bring the action quickly, as we see, not wasting any time trying to land some combinations and make some early adjustments.
Gets against the fence there. We're seeing the Jan versus Aldo pick as well, and that's a fantastic matchup. We've actually seen this fight in real life, and I absolutely love this fight. Aldo keeps getting younger with age. And Jan's one of my favourite fighters to watch, but Jan is susceptible to kind of being wound up slightly, so it'll be interesting to see if Blackout can wind up Lukey. I just know that you've got to be careful of Blackout's combinations because he's got the ability to put her out in 3 shots.
Bro, honestly, he's looking real clean already, is Blackout. He has looked absolutely impeccable every step of the way to this cage. Of course, Lukey has been a little while since he's competed, at least within Primetime MMA, so wonder if that's going to have a little bit of a factor here this evening. Trying to chop at that leg, and now going up top with the right hook, Doc. This is a little bit better, getting Blackout pressed up against the cage, but I have to say Blackout once again looking very good in the combinations he's throwing.
They are both looking very nice here tonight. And just a quick look on the betting lines. You've got 79% to Blackout, 21% to Lukey. Blackout looks like he's the betting favourite. So far, he's done a fantastic job. But as I say, that Charles Ward lands a beautiful combination there, Humble.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with those betting lines. There's 5 people bet on Blackout and 7 bet on Lukey. So, there's more people bet on Lukey, which is interesting, but at the same time, not the same amount of money, which can sometimes be camp friends, things like that, which, of course, you've got to back your teammates, you've got to give them that confidence, you've got to point there, you've got to tell them they're the betting favourite as well. But this is even as it gets so far, Cyrus. These two have had a war, but not much has happened, even though they've had a war. No knockdowns or anything yet, but you can tell it's coming.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, they have been 0 to 100 from the opening bell. They continue to try and land big damage on each other. It speaks to volumes to their all-round MMA IQ on one of them not being rocked or knocked quite yet. But like you said, brother, it is definitely on its way, especially if they continue to unload combinations just like that, Doctor. I mean, like I said, bro, spicy to say the least.
Both of them. It's just how quick they input the combinations. Like, I've seen Aldo come on a couple of times. He just is blitzing 4 or 5 pieces in like a matter of seconds. Blackout's doing the same with the uppercut, spinning up. He can't trade uppercuts, and it's just a wild little brawl there in the middle. 30 seconds left in the first round. Both of these guys not rocked, not stunned. Impressive both ways, especially for being both undefeated fighters. And this is what you call a title fight. Oh, just to prove who's the best of the best in their division.
Yeah, defense wins championships, and that's what these two have to have. Beautiful work. Going for the flying knee. Got to be careful, or kind of can get a read on that. Good fighters can get a read on that, but very, very close fight. As you're seeing, Cyrus, one thing I wanted to point on and allude on is that you've got to be careful that Pete Yan doesn't get ahead on health, because if he does get ahead, his stats, his perks start to kind of take over, essentially.
Yeah, that can definitely be part of the equation, of course. Oh, that is bad for Blackout. Big mistake capitalized on by Trials, trying to get the job done, but already the recovery is there. But like you said, the damage when Yan starts to get ahead can be a little bit hard to come back on. We'll have to see if he looks to capitalize on it, and he appears to be. Beautiful work from Lukey.
Picking up where he left off, essentially. And, one thing I wanted to talk about as well, Doc, is you've had Blackout have 5 fights, 5 finishes, 4 in the first round, 1 in the second. He hasn't made it out past into the third round in prime time yet. And Luke Duffy is Luke is a championship fighter. He likes to eat normal sort of fights. He had were 5 rounds.
I don't think any of these fights were normally 5 rounds long. Well, you're remembering humble. I think you went past the third, to be honest.
Even that, though, he had championship rounds every single time, and he did.
Oh my God, Jesus wept Christ. Somehow Aldo isn't dying, and Blackout is just having to dig deep, come back. This is the first time I've ever really seen a B3 member struggle. As I say that, though, Jesus wept.
Look, this is the most adversity that Blackout Hours has had in his entire primetime run. He is answering it back with style, with absolute commitment and confidence. He is willing to go out right here if it means landing or potentially being able to earn that goal. But Lukey, with the precision, sits him down once again, Humble. This is craziness.
What I seen right there was Lukey kind of disrespecting his opponent, not giving him enough respect and getting caught, and then Blackout's overexerting himself. Combinations as he lands the uppercut. This could be it.
Charles will try and he's down just to get the finish, and he does so. And Blackout War 5-1. Charles War 9-0, taking back the title he vacated.
Well, goddamn, man. If you're
It's only the co-main event.
You say I knew, Cyrus, but and still. This guy left the championship. He came back, and the championship is up for grabs again. So he just came back to get what's right for the years. And Trials War essentially stopping the dream for B3 to be top again. But maybe we'll get a Leon Stoltz versus Trials War matchup in the future. No, that'd be a fantastic fight. I know Leon Stoltz has got a busy schedule, but maybe on a Friday card, we do some other stuff as well. That would be interesting. But who's going to step up and fight Lukey now? Cobra Kai on top already. One fight, 1 win for Cobra Kai in the championship fight. I'm sure you'll be happy with that one. Celebrating back with the boys. I'll be interested to see who actually their camp members is, and if Luke wants to get some of those guys over here to fight in prime time. Let's get another team in the ranks.
Let's get CK versus B3 on the
so something like that would be sick, man, for sure. And just to point out, for Lukey out here, he is now, I believe he said 9-0, right? If he is able to put together a couple of fights at the end of this season now to close out as champion, he could quite literally be knocking on the door or even exceeding the BFAT Trixie's kind of pound for pound coachship. He may be getting his own emote within Primetime MMA in the near future, because that's a lot of fights, man, and there's a good number of defenses right now. I think the record is 12 all round consecutive, right? I think that was on the side of Trixie, 12 fights in a row that he was able to win. But my God, is Trials knocking at that door. What a fight for our co-main event, setting us up for all of the madness that is about to ensue. Doctor, you read the intros for this main event there, brother. FSK Optics, this young lad, fresh off the win against BFAP Jakey's, teammate, comrade, the GOAT, if you will, of Primetime MMA in Trixie. We saw him compete earlier on this evening. Optics, fresh off that win, his confidence is high, and it goddamn should be, man. He looked phenomenal in that performance. He believes he has all of the tools here to knock back Jakey for the final time. But as you said, Jakey no longer wants to be that gatekeeper, and is coming ready and prepared.
Now or never. Those are the words spoken by Jakey. It's now or never. Optics really wants to beat Jakey. This is a fight of pure trash talking and pure hatred, and I imagine Optics isn't particularly happy by Jakey's choice of weight being in the heavyweight division. As you can see by the two fighters on either side card of this fight graphic, we're going to be having Tom Aspinall as Optics, Stipe Miocic as Jakey. These two are going to look on to put performance of the evening. They both know how to grapple, they both know how to strike, but both of them are strikers at their hearts of hearts. I'm expecting this fight to be one hell of a fight here tonight, Humble, because this is a fight built of pure hatred, and this will be a fun fight to commentate.
100%, and just a bit of the rules and regulations of primetime MMA. You know, it doesn't always go in one way. You kind of get a bit of a, if you're the challenger kind of coming through, you do get to pick the weight class. The champion gets to pick the first pick of the fighters, and that's kind of the sort of advantages you get. So you can take your opponent out of their sort of preferred weight class to give yourself a chance. That's exactly what he's done. The mind games have already started well before this fight started, and that's why it's so freaking interesting. And Tom Aspinall, new character on the game, really interesting and great boxing, going against a Miocic with good wrestling and boxing. But you've got to watch that body health if you're Optics, because Tom Aspinall's only got 90 body health, similar to DC. I
actually think it's a perfect pick for him. He is a rising star in the UFC, and Optics is a rising star now, attaining gold within Primetime MMA within the UFC 4 community. So perfect pick. The absolute sky is the limit. But of course, Jakey B, like he mentioned, now or never, Doc. He is looking to take every bit of experience he has acquired and look to execute on it here this evening. But already a couple of shots starting to bleed through from the current champion in Optics.
Yeah, Optics is landing hard, but so is Jakey. Both of them trading shots in multiple ways. Looking like Stipe's taking a bit more damage on the chin for now, but that can quickly change, especially at these heavyweights. They hit hard and they hit quick in some cases here, Humble.
Yeah, I actually disagree with you as well, Cyrus. I don't mean you, but it's just because he's a new fighter to the game. Tom Aspinall's only got 90 stamina, which is similar to people like Ngannou, who gasses quite quickly. It gives you an example of kind of somebody who can throw a lot, but he can't maintain that. And this is a 5-round fight, so it'll be interesting to see how Optics does that. It'd be impressive if he can maintain sort of a good pace over 5 rounds. And for me, Miocic does everything slightly better, so Jakey's going to have the advantage in the fighters, but Optics has been killing it lately, and the confidence is key, Doctor. So far in this fight, he's backing up and kind of landing a lot of strikes.
I mean, the confidence grows. I think we've all witnessed this. Whenever someone gets a belt, their confidence grows tenfold, and they are just a completely different demon. And that is seeming like it's going to be the case with Optics. If he can manage this, he's so far so much more. Does take him his own, getting a lovely defense there as well, Looney. And so far, both of them are looking well versed for both of them here.
Yeah, honestly, he's looking good so far, looking dialed in, looks composed. But a couple of big missed shots allow Jakey to get a little bit more equalised in terms of the stand. I have to say Optics has done a fantastic job of using those teeps, Humble. Continues to pick at his opponent while circling on the outside, but Miocic is recovering a little bit better.
Yeah, he is, and it'd be interesting to see how they kind of go round by round, especially the pace of this fight so far tells you it's going to be a longer fight than the ones we've seen so far, but so did the Trixie fight, essentially. That got finished in the third, but it'd be interesting to see how it goes, how these fights go. But you can also see the stamina advantage starting to slightly swing in the favour of Jakey B, even though Optics is kind of throwing the same amount, so it's just a battle of stats at the moment, and Optics really needs to do something to kind of make Jakey overexert himself so he can land some bigger shots like that right there.
Looking like the health stats, though, going in the favour of Optics. He's managed to catch a bit more in the vulnerability window, as you can see by that block, the head health and the body health, which all just seems slightly lower. It could just be a deception of the eyes, but so far, I'm going to say that round went to optics. It did, but according to the stats, 8 to 10 centimeter strikes out of 25. But still pretty good defense and blocking though there by both of them here.
See, that's the thing, right? Coming to the end of that round, I was thinking that Trixie was maybe a little bit ahead because of the momentum towards the end of the round. But that's the thing about calling these things live, right, Humble? Sometimes the statistics may lead you another way.
Yeah, Jakey, you meant Jakey, but Jakey.
Jakey, sorry.
Yeah, Jakey's pressing action, right? He's pushing his opponent back towards the outside of that.
Oh,
Jakey!
That is what you want. If you're Jakey, getting that stun is massive. Go for the clinch attempt, doesn't get it. A lead hook, a straight also follows suit. But so far, that's a minute into this, and he's got a stun.
I angered him with getting his name wrong. It awoke the beast. He unloaded with the almighty Hadouken, and he's now got the champion on shaky legs, pressed up against that cage. He may be looking to secure the Primetime Gold right here, Humble. There's a lot of time to work, and obviously you've already got your opponent rocked, so you know that champion is compromised, at least for the rest of this round.
Yeah, you can see Jakey trying to grapple as well. He's gone for the clinch a few times. I'm expecting him to start shooting a takedown.
Oh, he doesn't need the takedown when the hands get the knockdown. Now going for the ground and pound, looking to get the finish. Is it going to be it? And we get a rage quit to finish it off. That was a quick one, to be fair.
Jesus.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Jesus, man. I mean, we're going to go across the full card just for a second. This has been a slightly larger card than normal, and it has been a sensational card. Kept the energy high all the way through there, Mr. Humbledink, due to the quality of the fights that are on display, as we have come to expect in Primetime MMA. But goodness, brother, what an event.
Yeah, definitely, indeed. It's been a fantastic event from top to bottom. Obviously, I started off the card myself, and then we went all the way to the Optics versus Jakey beef that we have. Maybe see that again in the future. We've got Fadinator and Trixie both getting wins. Blackout versus Lukey. Lukey kind of winning that championship back was amazing. And then we had some incredible other matchups and great performances from like Sean Corkery, Moolah Caliber against Dino, Chopper Reed. Just a fantastic card. Cyrus, next week we're doing Friday and Saturday, is that correct?
Yes, sir. So next Saturday and next Friday, 8:30 p.m. British Summertime or Greenwich Mean Time, UK Standard Time, and that is 3:30 Eastern. We will be going live with another weekend of absolute madness, beautiful destruction guaranteed in each and every one of those fights. It has been a pleasure once again calling Primetime 63 from myself, Doc, of course the one and only Humbledink. We are going to be calling it right here, right now. Make sure to show some love, join the raid, and let, obviously, the Primetime fam go wild when we go through. Stay safe, and we will catch you in the next one.